Welcome back to Dabbling Dads with your host Kyle and Tyler, here to dabble into just about anything. You can find us everywhere using the hashtag Dabbling Dads. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed.
You just talk, man.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
What's up, man?
You almost nailed it.
I was close.
Really close.
I tried to nail it because we got Blaine here tonight.
What's going on, everybody?
Yep, this is Blaine. I think everyone we've had on here except our neighbor Derek went to high school with us, I'm pretty sure. Or went to, maybe not with us, but went to the same high school we went to. I'm pretty sure every guest, even my dad, went to the same high school that we went to. Yeah. So
the Civic Center is where he went.
And it's cool, like, I don't know that me and Tyler really saw having guests and people from our hometown on here, but it turns out that, like, when you start doing stuff like this, like, I mean, I guess I was trying to think of the last time I saw you, Blaine, and I think it was probably New Year's a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. I can't remember, but like this just brought it in and you realize like he's into the same stuff we're into, but he's also into other stuff that's super interesting. So yeah, it's cool to have him. Maybe we'll branch out and have people we don't know and like have never met before on here at some point in time, but for the time being, this is where we are. I don't know what you want to tell about yourself or what your dad, obviously.
What's up? I'm Blaine, married, beautiful wife and 2 kids. Want to say it from White House. Just another big father looking to do a little dabbling.
I hear you.
That's right. And dabbling, man, and you dabble into lots of different things, right?
Right.
And we're going to talk about them. Well, I don't know where you want to start it.
I'll name a few just off the top of my head that I know of. You've played semi-pro football, played arena football, are into, is it live reefs? Is that
saltwater fish tanks, coral reefs, reefing in specific.
But also coaching football. I don't know what I can talk about. Like, really, I know things about you, but I don't know if you can talk about it right now. So I'll just let you talk about if there's anything I haven't covered or dive into one of those things.
Dude, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. We're just gonna start how we always start, but I want you to do some self-plugging first, so everybody knows what we're gonna get into in a little bit.
Okay.
Like, I know you were giving away like an aquarium, and I don't want to go into it right now, but just like, who would you like promote, or do you have anything you want to promote? Like your self-plug time right now.
List. Yeah. This is like the Grammys right here.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need the Grammys self-plug.
But we can do that right here at the beginning, and then
roll. Yeah.
Number 1, my wife. I appreciate her putting up with all my crazy antics because, like you heard on that list, I've done a lot of wild stuff. That's had me out the house. She's always supported me, so I appreciate that.
His wife!
My homie Dustin.
My wife.
That got me into reefing. He's my best friend at work. Best friend in life. He got me into reefing, so without him, I wouldn't find this hobby that I've grown so fond of to love.
Like a true dabble, like we talked about it before, like, I jumped to this, but like, that's like if you would like, Tyler Myers, if you haven't watched the last one, make sure you like, share, Dabbling Dads. Tyler Myers had the knife forging thing that we kind of dove into,
Mm-hmm.
but like, it's like your side expertise.
Yeah.
That's what we think a dabble is.
Okay.
Right?
So, you just worked with this guy and he was into it and just threw...
Correct. So I met Dustin at the cabinet shop, started working real close together. I'd always been into fish, like when I was in college playing football and stuff. I was trying to be a marine biologist, just always been about, but only fish. I knew coral existed, but it was like, I just thought it was just a background, I never seen. And I was talking about fish one day and he was like, man, let me show you my fish tank.
But what about fish did you like? Like big fish, colorful fish, all fish, ecosystems?
No, odd fish. So not anything, I'm not like whales or none of that stuff. I'm more into like
beta fish fighting?
No, well, we can go into the beta fish fighting. So in college, you get bored in the dorms. We actually did a little beta fish fighting.
For real?
Sorry, PETA. I know, that's terrible. I feel bad.
Hopefully PETA's not in here watching us.
But
we're immediately getting blacklisted for this.
No, we're good.
So,
say what's up in the chat.
2 beta fish go in the bowl. We think one's dead. So they floated at the top, left it alone. Overnight we wake up and the other one's chewed to pieces.
So you just didn't. So you saw Coral as and I feel like I know something about Coral now. I don't know anything. I watched Chasing Coral this afternoon, like as soon as I got off, because you told us to, and I was like, Erica. As soon as I got home, I was like, we're watching this documentary real quick because I got to at least know a little bit about what we're talking about. So I thought Coral was probably just like background. I mean, I knew it was living because I knew it was dying, and to die, he must be alive. It must be living at some point. So
we're gonna get into that whole thing, the chasing Coral, for sure. But keep going. So you said, "Come look at my aquarium."
Yeah. So he pulls out his phone and shows me this picture, and I'm like, what is all that crazy glowing shit you got in your fish tank? And he's like, that's coral. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, bro, you get a coral reef tank set up. He's like, it's a lot harder than just your regular reef tank, but if you keep it right, you can grow the hell out of them. And I was like blown away. I was like, bro, I gotta come to your house. I want to see this shit. And bro, as soon as I went over to his house, I started talking about it every day. I'm watching his YouTube videos that he's suggesting, and before you know it, I have a tank set up. And then after that, it was like I had 3 tanks set up. And it's just like, it just went crazy after that. Like I'm buying and selling and buying and selling. Oh yeah, it's nonstop. Because like you got like the one side is just the addiction too, but then you kind of have like the morality sides of it. It's like if the ecosystem doesn't fix itself, which is highly unlikely because of humans.
Oh, I wanted to ask you this question so bad. I'm glad you're about to say this.
When everything dies in the ocean, the only thing that's going to be left is what's left in people's aquariums across the world.
And you might be able to help regrow.
Right. Well, I mean, we've been doing that though as a reefing community. A lot of people will grow out huge things, cut them up into pieces, and they'll ship them down to the different teams of people in Florida that do the cross planting.
Which I saw that. It's crazy. Like, just the organism itself is crazy. Coral. So
yeah, are we just gonna go into like, I got
that's what we're talking about. We don't gotta wait. That's what we're talking about right now.
I know, man, but he still never plugged who he wanted to plug.
Well, dude, he can plug him as we go. I'm sure it'll get brought up.
All right, yeah. So talk about that in general. Like I thought about that too, because when I was watching the Chasing Coral thing, and he had all the tanks, and they were studying him, this, that. I also today in my class we watched Human Nature, which is like CRISPR and things like that with genetics. So like they have probably the DNA code for a lot of these things.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, right? You see, so like if they could create that environment, or let's say the Earth went back in a 1,000-year cycle instead of a shorter year cycle, you would still have these organisms' DNA technically, and you could repopulate them when the water was right again, so to speak.
Yeah, and we're at the point now, like they're like growing corals inside science labs, like they're making the same exact scenarios when corals spawn once a year. They can recreate that with staghorn corals, and they'll start to just spawn and release eggs, which is huge for our grow outs too. Like that's probably one of the biggest.
I want to ask about that.
Corals, period.
I want to ask about that. So, obviously, you said spawning and eggs. So, watching that and just my general knowledge of biology in general. So, that living organism, how does it reproduce?
Okay, so that's a tricky question. You're just talking about one specific coral, but multiple corals reproduce in multiple different ways.
Yeah, the kid talked about it, the guy that was obsessed with it. And
so they're like a true...
symbiosis?
They're in a symbiosis, that's what they said on there, but we're in a symbiosis too, technically.
Yeah.
But these corals, would you say it's asexual and sexual, or both like a tree? Like a tree can have sexual reproduction with itself, so it still has variety.
Right.
But it can also just become asexual, like a strawberry, and it's making a copy of itself. Is it making a copy, or is it...
So I would say probably, 70-80% of the time, it's making a copy.
Okay, so it has a hard time adapting if the environment changes quickly.
Right. The big thing is like, it's got to be the perfect conditions for corals to spawn.
Yeah, and they showed that where they were testing it, and there was like they had it running in like 3 linear waves, and the top wave said too hot for coral, the middle said perfect for coral, and the bottom said too cold. And for a long time, it ran perfect. Like, well, you may explain that here in a little bit. Like, for a long time in our general thought and time frame, as far as a human race, what we know as time, it ran for a pretty long time, pretty good, and then it sort of steadily took a decline. I don't want to get too far to that. I know the one guy was asking that lady that question. He's like, so that's an animal. So yes, that's an animal. Yes. They're the same animal.
But the way Blaine's explaining, they're really strawberry. They're one collective animal, but the things that you're seeing are like strawberries.
And that's how she explained it to him. I believe that's sort of how she explained it to him.
Right, but that's where it kind of gets tricky because it all starts with I guess you could put it like that. I mean, it all really generally starts with one polyp, and I guess it would just start multiplying. But it's really differentiates how it does that depending on the species.
So it's a living organism with living organisms
inside of it. Right,
Correct.
like the color you're seeing from coral, that's the zooxanthellae. Like when corals that lose
The zoo what?
Zooxanthellae.
Blaine's animal, and then
That's the one that does photosynthesis that the coral uses.
there's multiple. So that's like the cyanobacteria or the plant that's doing the photosynthesis is that organism inside
of itself.
The entire coral.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you'll see a stalk of coral, and one stalk may have 3,000 polyps, but each one of those polyps is an individual coral. Even though we don't qualify it that way, like each one of those is its own mouth.
It's like a bigger bacteria.
And then when they start trying to survive as long as they can when they're dying, they start expelling whatever that
Zooxanthellae
is. Correct, and that's I paid attention. See,
It's
I'm glad I watched that this afternoon.
That chemical reaction of photosynthesis for them must have to fall on a certain temperature, and it
100% it does.
So they
Correct.
can't survive.
It's not just temperature.
So it's probably like acidity as well.
Like alkalinity, magnesium, calcium, phosphates,
So
nitrogen.
how
you
often
can
are
say
you
it
testing
all,
that
Blaine.
daily?
Preach it to me.
You don't have to test it. You got a tank that takes care of itself.
No, I'm a.
If you have any questions for Blaine, put them in the chat. So.
This is like a what do they call them? LARS. I suffer from LARS syndrome extremely. That's called lazy ass reefing syndrome.
Okay.
So I'm one of the guys who's like, I
already know the name.
If it ain't broke, why fix it? You know.
Yeah.
And it's cost me my last tank. I just upgraded to a bigger tank. So my last tank looked like piss. Like my corals were fine, but just nasty red slime algae all over the sandbag. Scoop it up and wake up, it's back there the next morning. Had a whole bunch of people telling me it's a whole bunch of different stuff, but it's when you have to put a chemical, I really would rather not put chemicals in my reef.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I can avoid that, I'm not going to do that. But then it's you can't take good photos when there's red slime everywhere in the back of the pictures. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants that pristine
Do you have
white
that picture?
sand.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, show that real quick just so everybody can get an idea. In case you haven't seen Chasing Coral or
Yeah,
Looking
I
Up or
suggest if
something.
you haven't watched Chasing Coral and you're wanting to watch something, I think that's going to be our collective stop scrolling for the podcast. Unless you just had something real hard you wanted to push later, and we can talk about whatever later. But I say go watch it. I watched it today. I learned a lot. I know when they were showing the time lapse there at the end, I know they obviously set it up. I know how documentaries are made. They got the music playing and showing everyone's face. But dude, I felt that shit too. It's God dang, dude, that fucking sucks.
Well, they got the emotional kid. I have it on here. He got emotional with it. I wanted to talk about that. Blaine obviously doesn't get too emotional with some of his tanks.
We'll have this somewhere. See, we can now put this somewhere, and the painting we have is not much, almost the same size as that. So we're gonna. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
We're gonna start adding things as guests come. Guests can bring something.
We're gonna have to get a camera with the bigger lens on it. Correct.
We'll get to that if you want later. So the other thing is the fluorescent a going back to its reproduction and things like that. Is the fluorescent a mutation that they were trying to do to save themselves and it just wasn't enough?
No.
Or is this just a different species in taxonomy?
Just a different species. I mean, every creature of zooxanthellae creates color and stuff, and they all change colors depending on light. So you may have a coral that comes in that's extremely brown. It's been in the wild, and then you adjust it to lights that we use in our reef tanks, and all of a sudden it turns into a rainbow.
Really?
But it's also about a lot of these guys, they can successfully turn a brown wild coral into this bright color. And it's not that they were brown before, but you got to understand that they've been in Indonesia or Australia or wherever it came from. It's been a long trip to get all the way over here. A lot of stress. When they stress out, they darken and lose their colors and stuff. So once they get back in pristine condition, it's wild to see the color transformation from one to the other. But that's just an SPS. So that's That's specifically like the sticks you see or the big like caps you'll see out, like Monty caps. That's all like stony polyp corals, so it's always really hard rock corals. I'm into LPS, which is like big squishies, right? A lot of waving.
Yeah.
Like
we'll
where the clownfish swim, sort
Dude,
of.
I saw that guy pick that one up out of the water on that thing. I don't think I've ever seen one like that out of water. It looks crazy.
We'll bring up a YouTube video later, and
We can pull it up right now if you want to.
I'll let y'all get a little peek in my tank.
Oh, you got it on there. Let's do it right now. Perfect time.
talking.
Let me ask you this real quick before we move forward. When you got into it, how long was it before you went to your like first convention to go really see what this was about?
Man, you'll just have to look up reefs.com and then space euphilia.
On YouTube?
Mm-hmm. So it's like reefs.com's
What's it called?
euphilia, so it's EUPHYLLIA.
So is this like its genus here?
Correct.
Okay.
So euphilia are the ones that they look similar to what everybody knows as an anemone. They're not anemones. Yeah. So you'll have hammers, frog spawns, torches.
What is the anemone genus? Is it different, or are they different species? But
oh no, it's completely different.
Different. So like when we're talking about taxonomy, just real quick, because I brought it up. So where do they fall? Are they like a fungi, plantae? Are they their own? Where are they off of that?
Some are fungi and some aren't. That's the thing. It's like it's such a, and the problem is like we're still so far behind. Like they're reclassifying corals all the time. You know what I mean? And it's because it's like it's such we don't play in the ocean.
I don't know if that's yours or not.
Yeah, scroll down. I think it is.
Yeah, will it not let you scroll down?
Yeah, go ahead and click that one.
This will be. Is this? I know it's not.
Is it long?
We're sponsored by Boat and Wombat.
Get it, baby.
You got it.
Not you.
Yeah. Oh no. So go to like the 40s. Keep going. It's like up there by the little square. Keep going. Still got.
Oh, you shared this before,
Still
dude.
got a while.
I've watched this video.
So like my reef tank's in here though. So go back a little bit, Tyler. Man, right. Okay, right there's my tank. So go back just a little bit more.
Blaine Boone right there.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's go back just a little bit more because it'll show the. Yeah, just start right there. So just get ready for some fire. I'm just letting you know.
Was this your first?
This is my first tank. So you'll see a lot of torches. Torches are going to be like the little skinny tentacled ones. They're my favorite coral. Super obsessed with them. There's some hammers in there. They have a hammer-shaped head, some frog spawns, kind of look like frog fingers. So there's the tank right there. You see how many torches? Those ones that look like spaghetti.
So these are torches right here?
Correct. And then you got like that bottom right down there is a bounce mushroom. They're expensive in the reefing hobby.
And what those just start as like a few, and then they've multiplied into that?
Correct. So mushrooms do two different ways. They'll either walk away and leave a piece of their foot, and then a new one will grow from that foot piece, or they'll just split in half.
So like a mushroom.
Right.
So this is just an ecosystem of like a shallow water forest. If you were like a small little thing, like if you were a little fish, did you like a squirrel?
Yes and no, but these it can get like a lot of corals grow at different depths because they all have different lighting requirements.
So that's what I was going to ask you about depths too. When you were saying there were a lot of factors, is the depth of the water a factor?
For sure.
How much light, I guess.
Right, correct. So we have par meters, which measures light. So you can basically decide like how high off the water your light's going to be, and you can. There's a lot of videos of a lot of companies that have tested these lights. That you can get a generic idea of your spread, and then you just take your par meter and just make it basically a dotted map and write down what that light spectrum is right there. So you know this coral likes being in between 1 and 200 par. You want it in.
So is the car relatable to the wavelength of light that they're trying to absorb?
Correct. Oh, yeah.
So you're just dialing it in. Because like a lot of people don't know this in general, but plants are green because they reflect green. They're really absorbing far red light. So like you just that
Coral's
measurement
just zero green, zero reds. I run it like 100%. It's probably like I think I'm mine on my overdrive, so it's like 112% UV, 112% violet. Basically maxed out UV violet, blue and royal blue, 13% cool white, 0 red, 0 green.
Yeah, so like the UV light obviously is beyond the visible spectrum because the water must reflect the colors or absorbs the colors, so they're adapted to just the UV part that hurts our skin or whatever, but they're adapted to that. So as water gets deeper, they're not getting as much.
Okay, so that's like another thing that they talk about. So that bounce mushroom that I showed you a little bit earlier, they grow these big, swelled up vesicles on the mushrooms. And basically, science believes, I mean, we don't have any proof technically yet, but they believe it's basically cancer in the coral.
What is this mushroom?
Yeah, like the orange dots you're seeing on there.
Yeah.
They claim that that's like the mushroom corals produce bubbles when they're under high UV light spectrums. And they say that that's like its way of defending itself from cancer. Like it shades itself out with these large vesicles, I assume. But yeah, but they're prized like in the industry. Like everybody wants it to be a bounce mushroom, which is a mushroom with bubbles on it. Like that's all your high end like.
Nothing will grow down there by it.
Other mushrooms, but see, like everything with the tentacles, they'll all sting. I can put certain torches by certain torches, but
I saw they can sting other ones to death.
Yes, oh yeah, it's wild. Like you see the filaments come out, and like it's like they're spilling their guts into another coral. Once again, specific kinds, but they're spilling their guts over the coral and basically spreading acid on it. But like these ones have their tentacles get really long, like super long,
At
6 inches down
nighttime,
the tank, and they'll just tap other corals and sit there and sting them. Like you have to pay attention, and it happens a lot at nighttime. If it feels like it's weird how they have their own like presence because they feel other corals around them that they do not like. And when that happens, stingers come out.
That's crazy.
So they're trying to kill
That
it.
is crazy. It's like its own, like, dude, I love it.
So I had this thought while watching Chasing Coral. Like, I wonder if like this species is just
Should I take this down? Just leave it up for everybody to see.
Yeah, you can. You can still see Blaine. Like, I mean, it don't matter. Look at that. He's
That's
sitting right over
Blaine's
top of that
tank
thing.
right there.
Yeah, but
That's your question. I'm sorry, man.
No. It's not even a question. I just had this thought that like, what if this species is just so smart that it's like, yeah, we think it's dead, but it's just waiting for like all of us to die so we can like have its ecosystem
It's
back.
lived for a long time, but the ecosystem is changing more rapidly than they can reproduce, so they can't adapt quick enough. Is what's happening. Or
is that all humans? Is that humans' fault? Is that humans' fault?
What do you think?
100% humans' fault.
But do you think it's going to be strongest survive, and they'll just have some incredible?
Well, right now what we do,
or is it too quick?
I mean, we as humans are just basically picking corals who are the most resistant to water temperature changes. Ones that we've seen over time make it through these huge shifts in water temperatures, and we're reproducing those at rapid pace to rebuild the reefs. There's got to be a base. And then, reefs are huge because for millions and millions of years, corals have grown and died, and another one grow on top of it. They're all fighting for light. So if you're dead,
it's like a rainforest
growing on top of you. It just grows out into these giant mountains underwater.
That was my exact question. Like these, yeah, it's dead, but for how long is that thing dead? Not for very long, because eventually something's going to, the ecosystem's going to come back around, and everything's going to it's going to be beautiful again.
So my next question,
we won't live to see it probably.
So my next question is, let's think from a different scope now. He was basically defending the coral, feeling like he was trying to help the coral. But let's say where they're making now we're only reproducing the strongest, which naturally wouldn't happen, and there'd be less of them, and they would either die out or they would go. By us manipulating now who's reproducing, basically doing selective adaptation, basically, we would just be speeding that process up because we can.
No.
Should we just let them do it naturally, or are we affecting how they were made in the whole process? Is that happening in other places?
Oh, yeah.
Or other examples?
We're
speeding it up. Like we're making it worse, but we're making their adaptation faster because we can.
Well, the problem is like, so another one I suggest everybody watch is called Seaspiracy.
Yeah, I plan to play
it just came out, right?
It is wild.
Yeah, let's watch it, because I was going to actually play this.
Pull the trailer up.
I will.
But yeah, I mean, basically, the problem is
shows them dumping a bunch of shit in the ocean. That's all that.
Unfixable. Like, we can't fix what we're doing in the oceans. We can only pray that they can figure it out naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can do a lot of things to change, but the problem is you have to change so many people to fix it now. Like, the Florida reefs are gone. Y'all know that. Y'all saw it.
Yeah.
And it's worse. Like, that chasing coral has been out for years.
Here's the deal. Like, we got all these weapons. Like, let's just go ahead and use them. Go kill all these main places where they're dumping shit in the ocean and ruining the earth. Let's just kill all those people.
And see, that's not even the thing though. It's like a lot of it's like
That's what I vote for. Mass genocide.
I don't know about that.
burn the plastic earth.
You
I'm
sound
just
like
kidding.
a
I don't believe that.
depopulator.
Please don't get us. Please don't. I'm not a depopulator. Please don't.
Um,
I would never even get a fucking vaccination. So.
Microplastics is a whole nother ballgame. That's
Oh, dude! I just listened to that lady on freaking
if you
Joe
watch
Rogan,
Conspiracy,
dude.
bro, it's gonna make you sick.
Tyler, did you listen to any of the documentaries?
haven't listened
Oh,
to
it's about microplastics. This woman's been studying it since the 70s, dude, and she's measuring.
She's probably on this,
measuring
bro.
boys' taints, and dude, it makes. I swear to you, the size from the bottom of your ball sack to your butthole, which she referred to as the taint first, but then gave the actual name for it. It's like called a DAP, maybe.
Incredible.
It's like a DAP, something like that. Joe Rogan had never heard it called a gooch before. Surely everyone else heard it called a gooch.
I've heard
Joe
that.
Rogan had never heard it called a gooch before. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm not a doctor, but I listened to the entire thing.
What was the result? The shorter the distance, the less fertile, the longer, the more?
100%.
Boy, my butthole's so far from my nuts. It's
I know, and you got a decent size winger, so that's a
You're
correlation.
just
If it's
stretched
closer, most of the time their balls don't descend, and they have small wieners, and they have a hard time having babies.
Well, I got
That's
to
all.
No one in this room knows anything about that.
I got to use the
Damn.
shaver so far back. I think a damn rhyme
We
lawnmower.
went from coral to taint
You're
size.
telling me they had microplastics were affecting their.
Well,
or she just run that
thilamine is what these women are getting. She's just found that women who have a high, it's called thilamine. I tried to look it up. You can't even find it because no one talks about it. Like these people tried to get her on Joe Rogan so she could spread the word about like what she has found.
Right.
She's been studying this for a long time. But she studied it in babies. I think she said the boys from her study are now 11. I think so. Their balls have still not dropped. She got to wait till she can get like a sperm count and whatnot from them to really measure it. But
I shot mini blanks.
you need to go listen to it, Tyler. It's crazy, but
push the play button.
the thilamine can affect the male penis in utero. Is that what that's called?
Yeah, I believe all that can happen.
correct.
There's different things with how far your finger is, how much testosterone you have. There's different things
Correct.
that there's correlations to.
But it's the thilamine intake of the mother while she's pregnant, and that is in, she said, plastic bottles. Like when you buy the sausage biscuits that come in the plastic wrap, it says just tear a hole and then microwave in the plastic. She said you should never do that with anything that comes in plastic.
You're
never
like
microwave
ramen
it.
noodles in the Tupperware.
Yeah,
Like,
never do that. Yeah, do not do that.
That's crazy because see, I know of a study where
You
they
probably shouldn't
tested
drink
frogs
water bottles.
after things they sprayed in the water, and it caused frog testes to have eggs and vice versa, and it basically made frogs.
This lady is part of that study,
Homosexual.
Tyler.
Yeah. Anyways, it made them more
She's
homosexual. These
probably
frogs.
on this, bro.
These
she
people
may
would
be.
probably be 90s, and now their kids.
Oh, that might be why Joe Rogan had
Is
her on there,
Ali.
honestly.
I've been fascinated with the ocean for as long as I can remember.
Little old lady with
This
glasses.
romantic vision that I always had of the ocean completely changed. I was forced to confront a side of the story I never knew. A story of just how huge our
Don't
impact
watch
on the
this
seas
with
had
your
become.
kid.
Where are the big
Why? They need to know not to litter.
No, there's a scene in the very end
with
that's
the most
was
important
disturbing
issue
to
of all.
me.
Can you turn
Oh,
off the
really?
cameras?
Like grown man.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Blackfish was
making this
disturbing.
film.
Right. Well, this is
They basically bred
Way
monsters.
more
This
disturbing.
is like, yeah, I'm talking about.
The safety concerns are serious. Ignore
I like
them.
it.
Blackfish was hard to watch when he was dragging that dude down to the bottom of that deep ass tank over. Like I was
Slaughter of these
suffocating myself.
dolphins
They were breeding
is
a
reaction
psychopath.
to the overfishing that's happening.
The U.S. government might be breeding.
เวลามีปัญหามาคือเราก็คือเขาก็แค่จำหน่ายว่าป่วย
We hear a lot about blood diamonds. This is blood shrimp.
We are at war with the oceans, and if we win this war, we're gonna lose it all because mankind is not able to live on this planet with the Dead Sea.
Second time I've heard that today, by the way.
Enforce sustainable fishing.
Don't get caught up in watching tonight because it had me off messed up at the house, man. I'm like, I need to rethink my position on like,
Yeah, that's the second time I've heard that pretty much exact statement today.
It's like, it's not.
If you want to,
No, humans are very ignorant
is
and
protect the ocean, and the solution to that is very simple.
psychotic, man. Like, honestly, like.
So does your coral, if it's dying in the tank, will it bleach in the tank or no?
Correct.
There's positive and
100%.
negative things that
Well,
bring
depending on
about
the coral
change in
too.
human
So
civilization.
some corals
Start
just
with
disappear.
someone.
Like, so my thing Euphilia grows. It grows out like branches, and then it'll have this big branch with a polyp on it, with a head and a bunch of tentacles on it. And those will turn into branches. Well, sometimes if the coral dies, it'll basically, the green part, like the fluorescent part with the tentacles and stuff will die. It'll curl up on the bacterial infection and just disappear, and you'll just be left with skeleton. Or
No,
You have the comments pulled up?
I don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop you, Blaine. Chad said, chode. Yes, the tank, aka chode. That's right, Chad.
Thank you, Chad, for joining us in the chat here today. We're going to have Chad on very, very soon. I've been doing a good job, ask Kyle, of getting people lined up.
Yeah, he's lined them all up.
Line them up like ducks in a row.
yes,
And Blaine started the new thing tonight, so make sure you're ready to bring something to be sat somewhere. I did have one more question, real quick. Sorry, I had notes. I came prepared tonight. So the ocean. So the ocean is like. I feel like we're so obsessed with the space, but there's a space right here on Earth that for some reason we're distracted from, and it's either they're hiding something or they just are hiding this stuff like this, other things. Like, the ocean is vast.
correct.
It's oldest as it gets.
I've heard
The Earth used to be all water.
we only know about like
not
40%.
No, it ain't even that.
Not even 40% of the ocean has been discovered. Like less than that. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
And
Maybe that's what it said. Less than 40% of the ocean has been discovered.
I want to say it's less than 20%.
Oh, I mean, you may be right. You probably know more than
The
me.
problem is, I mean, you just gotta understand is like pressure. You can't we can't make anything strong enough to go deep enough.
No, because I never thought of it until they explained on there when they were talking about the camera they put underwater. They were talking about the millions of pounds of water coming down. It's like, damn, I never thought about it like that. The further you get down, no wonder it's because it's just heavier and heavier on top of you in there.
I'm glad Chad's here to hear this information.
Oh, in our chat? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
All right.
But it is technically the air is doing that to us right now as well. The air just has a much less density than the
I
water.
mean, barometric pressure, everybody knows that's the thing.
Exactly, and it's all that pressure is true weight, like
that's what
true
real
mass.
science is.
It's terrifying.
But it's from density. It's from how heavy it is.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Terrifying.
I know, but it's crazy to me.
No,
That we don't. Why don't we? But why are we obsessed with it? If we spent every money that we spent going to space, technically, do you think that we could figure out a way to go deeper than we?
I mean, eventually they'll figure it out. But right now, like I said, it's not. There's not a material that exists. And now, don't get me wrong. There may be.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff we don't know about. But as far as the scientific community and the world knows, like the normal ones, there's not a material out we can build. That
you can only go so deep.
Right, we've got it maxed out. Like we're going as far as we can, humanly possible. Right?
It's like you can't even go fast either. You're just like in a.
Like they're discovering shit all the time down there.
Yeah, it's insane that every time they go down, they're pulling up new fish, new species.
Yeah. And then technically, if you keep going down there, then it's just like hard rock.
Right. So they found like a huge reef
down there.
No one.
At the bottom.
That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Should always be in a karate stance when people start saying shit.
I always think of like the Jar Jar Binks, like how they were all living down there at the bottom. I'm like, man, they got the little pods down there. You just got to get to the bottom.
Or you never know.
Put them little breather things.
At some
put them
point,
little breather things in your mouth they use.
Right, you gotta understand how easy it would be to set a base out in the middle of the ocean underwater. Like the chances of a boat, like we're smart enough as humans, stick it out in the middle of fucking nowhere. The chances of a boat coming past that spot is like unbelievable numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to put it out of the way of every trade route, every cruise ship. It's just going to be out in the middle of the water where nobody would be. And if the one boat did show up, whoever's got the money to put that base there is going to suck that boat underwater, and it's never going to be talked about again. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to be heard about.
I heard about
There's kind of communications. The boat's going down. It's over with. But I'm just
if you
saying,
need
like,
to slide, you can slide. That's
No,
easier.
it's
But do what's it called? Free dive.
oh yeah, man.
Do like deepest free dive.
So that's stuff's nuts. So there's actually like a tribe in like Thailand or Indonesia.
Oh, I've seen
their
it.
whole tribe free dives. Like they're like,
Is this it?
But they live like on the water, right?
Yes, their
I saw
houses
those
are on the
people.
water.
What's the documentary called? It's the same people that did Planet Earth, but it's called like
Is this it?
Human Planet or something like
yeah, I
that.
think that's exactly what's
Yeah,
going
and those
on.
people live on the water, man, and they're nuts. That one dude, he's like the old head of the tribe. He can stay
You know
underwater
what I'm
for
saying,
so
bro?
long.
But they like that's like evolution.
This may be it, Tyler. I'm not sure.
Man,
I just wanted to see someone free diving. It's like, it hurts my ears to go to the bottom of like the 10-foot pool, dude. Like,
So
you know what I'm saying?
it's wild, which we can dabble on it, but you know, I'm a licensed scuba diver.
Oh, really?
It is wild learning to like. So basically, you got to equalize your pressure as you're going down, like, and as you're coming up.
What's that called? When you come up too fast? There's a name for you, like blackout or
They have to put you in like a pressure chamber.
What are they?
Decompression?
Yeah, because you're under that pressure. We're talking about pressure again. Under that pressure, the nitrogen in your blood turns into a liquid, and then when you come up at a pressure too quick, it like
Well, how they
turns back
say is
into a
like
gas
if you
that
take
can
a
blow you up.
balloon and blow it up, and you pull it down to the bottom of the pool, as it comes up fast, it expands. Same way if you took a balloon
Yeah, I did that with a
down to the
basketball.
bottom when that was blowing up and pulled it up. The same way with your lungs. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. In the movies, they just show like a shark coming and they're just like swimming straight to the top. Like you're not going to be good. You have a very slim chance of surviving.
Yeah.
That's the reason there. But this guy is like.
I was trying to find one. Have you seen those tanks, those real deep tanks where those people like stand on the ledge and they'll just be like, what's it called?
Nemo.
Is that like the famous one? Yeah, dude,
that's
it's
the big
so
one.
deep. Blaine knows a lot of shit. I know he does.
Those are dope. So I'm a terrible like random fat guy like my wife.
That's awesome though. That's what we
How
love.
do you know this?
Our neighbor
I
over
like to
here is
watch
the same way.
documentaries.
He's like, people that know him call him Google. He knows a lot of shit. Like, you just say something like, oh yeah, that was in like 1937 and yada yada yada, and just ramble off smart shit.
Yeah, it knows like all the books and shit like that too, man.
All right, so let me plug this in real quick. If you need a side hustle, start a reef tank. Because let me tell you, it's cool to have a hobbies, but it's way cooler when your hobby pays for itself or pays for part of itself. That's like the big game for me. Like it was cool at first to buy, but it's even cooler when you're successful and they grow, and then you can cut them up. Like so, when a coral grows, you can cut it and sell that piece to somebody else. The coral you have is still gonna grow. You know what I'm saying? It's called fragging.
And he can grow it now?
Yeah, and so this piece I cut off, you'll start growing branches.
So how good did your tank being on that video right there do for you as far as people wanting to buy your shit?
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. Not great.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, it's not, the problem is that I'm not shipping coral.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm only selling in the local market. I don't want to be in charge of shipping coral. Like, first off, shipping is outrageous right now. And it's outrageous, period, to ship coral overnight. Not to mention, half of them, there's a lot of DOAs, basically, a lot of dead on arrivals, and then you as a coral company have to cover that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fuck
like,
that. Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to buy from you if you're not going to cover, because, I mean, like, that's just a chance you take, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to pay $400 for coral and it all get here and be dead, you know what I'm saying? But they have, like, a lot of them have stipulations, like 2 hour from delivery. Like, if it got to your house at 10 and it died, it was dead before 12. Like, if you don't send them a picture between 10 and 12, they don't get it. Some people are like a day. Some people, when some good companies are like a week, they're that confident. There's a lot of good success rate, but it does happen, and I don't want to be
What's the
responsible
temperature?
for
The
that.
water temperature is the problem?
Yeah, so it can be all kinds of stuff, but majority of the time it's the temperature. Also, like I said, this is a creature. They have flesh and skeleton, and like if they cut their flesh, like boxes, like FedEx, and then they don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, it says live fish all over. They're like, see you, Nemo. And so your coral's sitting there like you're hoping that it's boxed great, that like it won't be just sitting there slung around the bag and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like by the time it gets to me, it could be dead. Majority of the time that doesn't happen. Like I've only had 2 times that I had deal, and I've ordered a lot of coral. And both times the company took care of me, so it wasn't no big deal.
So how many gallon was that tank?
That one right there was a 20.
What do you have at your house?
Well, I've got a 40. So here's the thing. I'm only allowed to have up to 30 pounds at my apartment because I'm on the 2nd story. But I set up a 40 because I was like, they're not going to know the difference between a 30 and a 40. And then I've got a 30 in my bedroom, and then I've got another 20 in the kitchen. But I'm getting ready to break down the 20 and the 30. Like 99% of my corals are in my 40 right now. Like it was cool running 3 tanks for a little while. But now I'm so busy, it's hard to maintain 3 tanks, like to keep them all perfect. And
Your boys are about old enough to start training them, boy.
My sons have they're like, oh, cool fish.
Do you have fish in the tank?
Oh man, so you're gonna break my heart talking about that. R.I.P. to Bethany, she's dead, man. So a lot of people like to put lids on their reef tanks to keep their fish from jumping. I've just had good luck with most of mine, but I had a Wyoming white clownfish in there, and she jumped the other day, so she's gone up. But I've got fish in the other tank.
That makes me want to pour out a little bit of my beer on the garage floor here, but there's too much shit plugged in.
And see, like that's another game, like clownfish. Like I should have brought my poster, but there's so many different colors. Like designer clownfish is a thing. Like people breed specific clownfish
sure
colors.
They do. They're fucking awesome.
Oh, bro, you have no idea how
like
many colors
favorite.
you see. Like you're thinking of just orange and white Nemos, and I'm talking about black and white and orange Nemos and frostbites and long fins and mocha storms. Like, bro, it goes on for days, and they get crazy.
God, I just know it's so hard to keep up with a tank, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I mean, yes and no. So here's the thing.
What is it, Lars? Is that what you
Lars,
said?
yes. You want to keep your hands out as much as you can. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be like, no matter how good, there's like one specific
You know, one of the magnet cleaner deals.
Oh yeah, got a little scraper on there. I don't like it though. They all. I mean, unless I spent, I'm not gonna buy one for $100. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I've got a stick scraper that I use 90% of the time. And then you also have like snails and stuff. A lot of cleanup crew in your tank. Hermit crabs, snails.
Can you put them little catfish in there? They're bad.
No, they're not so hard.
Oh yeah.
You put it in there, it's like.
Immediately.
Fucking gills are flared out. Oh god.
I'm an idiot.
Sounds like you put one in there.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
But I mean, there's all kinds.
You gonna suck a fish? Daddy, suck a fish laying on his back.
And algae's really wild because like that's the thing is like you're maintaining parameters throughout the tank, but then you have to deal with like nuisance, like there's pests in reef tanks. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't dip your frag plugs and stuff, like stuff you bring in, it can have pests on it. There's
What do you mean dip?
So it's like a
like the shit off Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the dip.
It's like there's just different dips you can buy. Like it just kills pests. It's like a liquid that you dip the coral in. You do like a dip, then a little freshwater dip, and then into the tank. Once again, I don't dip corals.
What's your business that you do? Do you have a name for the business?
Yeah, it's Blaine's Crazy Coral Corral. Come on down. Get you a discount if you mention Dabbling Dads.
All right, our first sponsor on the show. It is, what is it? Blaine's
Crazy Coral Corral.
Crazy Coral Corral. I will try to get the link and put it in there. Is there a link?
Hey, but legitimately, do you have like a Facebook page where you sell your shit, or you just do it through people word of mouth?
So there's like a lot of reefing groups. I'm really into the local club. I was the president of the club last year. Just got busy this year. I would have ran it again. I'm secretary technically, but I'm loosely because I've got a lot of shit going on right now. But so I sell a lot through there. Like I'll just post like, hey, 5 heads, and one of like those things over there are called xanthid. Pull that poster out. Let me do a little quick education. So this is each one of these is a polyp. So you see all these individual heads of each one.
Yeah, they're like a big version of like a stoma of a plant.
They remind me of a mussel.
So these ones are like basically like little flowers, and they grow everywhere. They encrust, so they just kind of grow in a mat. He just put a bunch of them around each other, and they all kind of grown into each other. And eventually, some of them will outcompete others. They'll choke them out and kill them. But basically, I snip this head off. I'm gonna cut him off. I'm gonna glue him to another little frag plug, and then I'm gonna let him grow out, and then I'm gonna sell him. Zoanthids right here are my biggest money makers.
How intricate is that process of cutting it out?
Depends. Some will like grow perfect, like some of them will just so happen to like leave the mama and it'll just be like an easy little, like I take bone cutters because I'm cutting ceramic that they're growing on, snip it right between them, no problem. Sometimes I have to pull out a scalpel and I have to sit there and like knife around their body and try to get them to peel off. And then like these ones,
we got a coral surgeon
these ones can kill
on our
you.
hands.
These are all murderers, so if you're ever fragging any zoanthids or polyphoas, wear your mask, wear your eye protection, and your gloves. They have a toxin in them called palytoxin. It will kill.
So I'm out on the reef,
I think that's
visiting
what
my
I can kill,
home.
man.
And you go by and you step on the pallies, and they just start to shoot palytoxin everywhere, and it gets into your skin and on your bloodstream. You're going to be very, very sick, and if you're at the wrong hospital, you're not going to be okay.
You need to be close to the beach, probably.
Yes, I mean,
Like if I go down here to Vanderbilt, I'm fucked.
it's very rare that it happens, but sometimes like you'll go to cut, it'll squirt water, like you get in your eye, get in your
Ah, I
mouth.
see what you're saying. I yeah.
So you like, and there's been families that have like decided to redo their reef, and then they're going to fix their rock that's got algae on it. They're going to boil their rock, like.
And all of a
no
sudden,
idea.
dad and mom, and everybody's dead in the house. Shit!
Oh my
They
It
boil
just
their rock
went
with
dark
these-
over here on Dabbling Dads. Don't kill your family
With these
boiling
little
your, what are they called?
Zoanthids. Oh, yeah.
Don't boil your zoanthids.
So like, and each one you see like all these different colors. So colors and patterns all pay different. So like this one right here, maybe only like 5 per head when I sell a frag, but this one right here maybe 200 per head.
Oh shit!
So like,
Why, just because of the color?
right, and then like the popularity at the time, like everybody wants the new thing. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants what everybody's talking about. So the quicker you can get the popular pieces, the better off you're going to be. But you're always
You want them
gonna
to start
play
growing ASAP.
Right, but then sometimes some of them are expensive, like these right here. These are called salted agaves. They're also called white zombies. They're like a tried and true high-end Zoa, super fucking slow growers. And you can tell basically which ones are faster growers by which one has so many fucking heads. Like this one's got 3, but this one over here has 10.
That one there's got a shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like those are faster growers. So you're gonna make more money off these most of the time because you're clipping 2 or 3 frags of this by the time you're clipping 1 frag of this.
Yeah.
So it's all a game. So like some corals that, it might take you 9 months.
There's people out here doing this full time.
Oh, 100%. Thousands of companies. And that's called aquaculture corals. So you're growing corals inside your own home aquarium, same way like they do at some of these bigger colleges and stuff. Like you're growing corals at home, so it's an in-home aquaculture. Then you have mariculture, where they're growing them in the ocean, but they're still growing them on racks. So they have huge racks out in the ocean in the shallows. So
I'd have a hard time keeping my yard cut. I'd have a real hard time keeping them coral alive, probably.
Does it max out? Like, does it max out, or can it just keep on?
It'll grow as much space as it has. The problem is you get it runs into other corals, it runs into rock, it runs into the wall, it runs out the water. Like a lot of people have corals that have grown so big they're like at the top of the water. Or it'll get too close to the light and it'll start dying off at the top. You know what I'm saying? Like the coral will never die as long as the parameters
Sounds
are.
like a great pet. It really does sound like a good pet.
Reminds
And
me of-
I guess you do got to clean the tanks. You do sort of got to clean your shit.
What were the things called? Chia pets that grew the grass? I feel like this is like that on steroids.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very similar from what I saw on that shit. Very similar. Because remember they said like bone and then polyps. Is that what it said? Bone or skeleton?
Skeleton
and then had the polyps on that. Very similar. It grows the exact same. What you're
It's
talking about.
crazy, man. And that was very educational for me. Y'all ready to talk some sports?
The only movie I know that deals with the reef that I can think of is Finding Nemo.
Yeah, that's what everybody knows the reef has. But the problem is like even when you watch Finding Nemo, you're not paying attention to the coral. You know what I'm saying? Me watching it, I'm like naming species as it goes by. I'm like, there's a monoporicap, there's a.
Did they do a pretty good job actually putting like legitimate?
Oh, yeah, for
Disney's
sure,
the
yeah.
best. They fucking
The problem is
attention
like
to
also
details better than anybody.
Like you struggle at home. It's like you don't really want to mimic the ocean. Because the ocean, like, I'm like designing my own reef. I'm like, ooh, I like this coral. It's going here. Ooh, I like this one. It's going here. You know what I'm saying? As for the ocean, like, you're going to have a lot of ugly shit in one spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you're never going to notice those individually unless you see, like, an aquarium where you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of fire in there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just hurting my eyes.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's the one thing, and also the problem is like you pull corals from different, like this coral was from Indonesia, but these ones were grown in Australia, and I was sticking them in the same tank. You know what I'm saying? Then you have coral warfare, and then sometimes that leads to chemical warfare.
Sounds like
So
it
what's
leads
the
to a
coral?
corral.
What's the
Crazy
coral
corral.
black market look like? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. The coral black market.
Like, this is the most dangerous one.
Or like stuff that you're not supposed to have in your home. Maybe like I don't know.
Well, it's kind of weird. There's not a whole lot in the United States. Like they're pretty up in the United States, but like it's such a weird law between because like Canada does some shows like right near Niagara Falls, and there's like a huge list of shit you can't bring over the thing. Now there's a ton that you couldn't go to Indonesia, buy coral, and bring it back to the States. Like they would fucking.
You have to be a buyer, or
right? You have to have a license, just like that. And like, but that's the problem now. Is like you got to remember. Sorry,
You always have to have a
little bit
license.
longer, but
no, you're fine. Talk as long as you want.
Indonesia was shut down when I started. Indonesia wasn't even shipping corals. They got shut down because basically what Indonesia did was they give these big companies tickets, and every time you go cut a wild coral, you have to turn that ticket in. Well, at the end of the year, they still have a lot of tickets left, but through time they know that they're not going to fill it like a certain time length, so they sell it to companies who don't have the licenses. And these companies are going out there and practicing it the wrong way, like
fucking shit up.
It's like tagging gators.
So instead of taking a little piece
or deer tags
and bringing it back and growing it out, they're cutting the whole fucking thing, taking it back, clipping it up into a bunch of little pieces and shipping it to the United States. You know what I'm saying? They're not taking that time to wait, and then it's just fucking their refund. So they stopped shipping. You couldn't get shit from Indonesia. Like anything that
is that
was
where the best
Indonesia
shit comes from?
So is there?
Yes, it's in the eye of the beholder. Some corals look better from Indonesia. Like I like torches from Indonesia. They have longer polyp extensions and stuff. But there's stuff that I like that's Australian better than Indonesian. They grow different, which is cool.
How do they grow together? Do they work well together?
Certain ones. So like, I don't like putting Australian torches near Indonesian torches, because there's just always that possibility they won't get along. But normally, like, I could take 5 different species of Australian torch and stick them all together. They're not going to fight each other.
Is it true that if I take a coral from one side of the ocean and take it to the other side of the ocean, that piece of coral and that coral I took it from will grow and do it all at the same time and still stay on the same cycle as each other?
What do you mean? Like if you were to take one from
I thought we talked about that on here one time. Where did I hear that from? I heard it on someone on Joe Rogan.
It's probably on Joe Rogan's podcast with David Blaine.
Yeah, and they talk about
man,
that.
he's a fucking idiot. No.
That's not true.
Hell no. He's
okay.
so stupid. He's like, you can put coral in a bucket. And just, I'm like, it does
See,
not
that's
work.
why I wanted to ask. That's what I was thinking. Is he said that he said you could like take the coral in a bucket, and whenever it started to do whatever the hell it would do it at the same time. It would stay on its.
You need like the exact same environment.
It would stay on its
Well, he's talking about
ecological
spawning
time
is what he's
cycle.
talking about.
Yeah, it would spawn
the
at the
thing is,
same
though,
time.
like, it wouldn't matter where the coral is in the world. Like, there's a lot. It happens in tanks now.
Yeah.
The spawn. It's just like the corals know from ancient ancestry DNA. It's like a weird thing with the moon and
Just
everything.
like how we know to squat to shit.
But it only happens like one time a year now. Now we've been able to manipulate it in the laboratory now. But it only happens like once a year on this regular stretch, and all of a sudden there's fucking eggs flying everywhere. But like other things, like I haven't even gotten in the anemone game. Like that's a whole other ball game that I fuck with. But like, and they'll just shoot like corals will shoot sperm up in there. Just starts like there's my snail one time.
Sounds
I walked
like me
over looked
sometimes.
like he was smoking a joint. Man, he just started blowing smoke out. Like I was like, what is he doing? What the fuck? Like, am I tripping? And he just shooting sperm all in there, like
kind of like pollen from the trees.
yeah, it was nuts looking. But corals do the same thing sometimes.
Trying to
That's
spread
when
that
you get
seed.
spawn. Yeah, it's like one coral will start shooting out little balls, the other one's shooting sperm, and before you know it, you start seeing little neon specks in the rock. You're like, what the hell?
And it starts
It's a
growing.
new coral, yeah. If everything stays good, the problem is like you have creatures and shit that come along and fuck it up, like damage it or injure it, and if it can't heal itself, it'll get a bacterial infection and die. Like that's another thing. Is like sometimes you have to dip them in iodine and shit to try to revive them.
Jesus Christ!
But you gotta understand, if you're doing this just to have like a nice aquarium in your home, it's easy as pie.
Yeah,
But
you're doing it to sell them.
Right, I'm trying to do it to where I can make money back so I can buy more expensive coral. Like I'm at the point when I first started, I was buying everything. Everything for cheap. Everything I get my hands on, I'm buying a ton of it because I just want to be able to grow it out.
Yeah.
And then as time has gone by, like now I only want to buy high-end stuff.
It's just like you said, it's like manipulating now. It's like you can buy food and fruits anytime now because they can manipulate their environment that they're growing in.
Right, yeah.
Make them.
Which we could do. We could all do the same thing he's doing with a lot of things. Truly, food, all types of stuff. Truly.
It sounds like we got the buzzer going. You can't think of nothing. Oh my goodness.
Food and a whole bunch of other things. I mean, if you wanted to, you know.
So you go to the shows and you can just buy Corral straight from the show.
Yeah, so we got a show on Sunday.
Yeah, I asked that question like about 45 to 50 minutes ago.
We never said.
I know.
We have a show on Sunday at the Lebanon Fairgrounds. If you're in the Corral saltwater, come check us out. It's 11 to 12 is for VIPs. It's $10. 12 to 5 is for regular. It's $5. I think first 100 people get a free frag, so get there early. I'll be there, but y'all probably already know that. So
You gonna be selling frags?
No, so listen.
You gonna be chilling?
Yeah, we'll walk around and buying. If the price is right. It's been kind of weird because COVID. So COVID stopped all the shows. So that's something we were going to talk about. Is like how I started in the reef game was like I took a jump, a leap of faith, basically. My friend, I met a guy on Facebook. This is another story besides the other one. I met a guy on Facebook. We just kind of shared some stuff, and he was like, "Hey, man, you need to come up to this barbecue up in Ohio at Tidal Gardens, which is a big coral warehouse." And I'm like, he's like, "I'm gonna be working it. You get to meet everybody, come kick it." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's go." So me and my homie Dustin drive to like out in the middle of nowhere over here in Kentucky to get with them, and then ride 6 hours up north Ohio. Do this in the weekend, establish my friendship with him that I came there with. You know what I'm saying? Go back, had a great time. The barbecue was cool. Got to meet a lot of cool people. He's up in Chicago for Aquashella, and which is a big reefing.
Is that like the Comic-Con?
Right, but it's also fresh. So they do freshwater and art. So it's like a big collaboration in this building. They do like a huge setup. It's fucking beautiful. Like you should pull it up on YouTube. It looks incredible. But anyways,
what's it called?
Aquashella.
AQUASHELLA.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't.
Bro, the art installments are nuts. Like it's all under UV. You know what I'm saying? And like they create these huge coral reefs and jungles and shit all on UV that you walk through. And it's like so immersive.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, go down to that second one.
I saw where they're doing the immersive Van Gogh thing in Nashville.
I know. I saw that look kind of does. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, man, that does look kind of cool. But basically, he called and he's up there. It's like Chicago's 8 or 9 hours from here. I can't remember what it was, but
it's like a 9-hour drive.
He calls me and is like, "You need to get up here." It's like he knows my dream to work in the industry and stuff. I want to be in reefing. Like I want to do that full time. You know what I mean? He's like, "You need to get up here." And so I'm like, I have to go convince my wife.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's Saturday night.
My wife.
Me and Dustin are finna go to Chicago. I gotta go. Like this is part of my dream. I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I've got homies up there that are in the local club.
I'll make it up to you, baby.
Right. So, she lets us go.
Look at that.
We drive. That's the art installments right there. I didn't realize this was titled.
So they grew that probably separate, then they just put it together like a display.
So anyways,
I say that all the time. People have these talents or these dabbles or these little expertise.
So was this like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show?
So just Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
But everybody's normally there Friday because everybody's setting up and stuff, and like not the normal people, but all the vendors and stuff. And that's where I want to be because I want to be shaking hands and kissing babies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like, "You gotta get up here." So we make the convince. So me and Dustin leave here at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And drive to Chicago every night on Saturday night, bro. So we're spending Sunday in Chicago. Drive all night to Chicago. Get there like 6, maybe like 5 or 6 in the morning. And so like I know that I've got people there. There's this older couple that's in our local club that I'm friends with, and he's like, "You can come kick it at our hotel until it's time to go." Well, we hit this little breakfast spot down the street to waste some time because it was early as fuck. And then I called him because I'm wearing like this going up there, but I'm gonna change. And I'm like, can I get up to the hotel room to change? So I come down, we go up there and change, kicked in, I was like, well, we're gonna go to the breakfast because they're staying at the Expos Hotel.
Yeah, I got you.
And I get down the stairs and like I'm seeing a lot of people that I don't know personally, but I know like some of them I've talked to on Facebook, and like they're all the famous reefing people. One in particular, Peter, the guy from Reefing News Network. I see him, and it's like he's like my idol. I'm like,
You've like commented on his
Peter! Yeah, like I'm this giant big motherfucker. He looks at me crazy. And it's like, and I've been drinking Red Bull and shit all night, so I'm cranked up. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all just got out of bed from being out the night
Those
before.
of you that don't know Blaine, Blaine's high energy dude.
Yes. So I'm cranked up. Like I said, they were all did the whole show all night. They went out and had dinner and all that the night before. Everybody's just waking up, and I'm like I said, I'm hungry because I've been in Chicago. Like we're finna do this. So he's looking at me fucking crazy, and I'm like, it's Blaine, man. He's like, yeah, I should have known from the Facebook pictures. I was like, man, what's up? And he was like, shit, just gonna get some breakfast. I was like, all right, man. And just kind of ended it like that. And I was like, that was so cool. So I see another guy though, so I'm in, and like, we'd already ate breakfast.
Yeah.
But they're having breakfast at the hotel, and I see another guy that I met at the barbecue. And I'm like, he's sitting with Kessel, which is like a big light company. I'm like, shit, I don't think they're gonna squeeze up here. So I'm like, let's go get a plate. So I go in there and get a plate.
Second breakfast.
Right. I go in there and get a plate and literally turn the corner because it's like a fancy hotel. I turn the corner to go in the banquet room and they're getting up to leave. I was like, shit. I was like, Rico, I'll holler at you. So I'll just set my shit down. I was like, into that. So that was awkward. But then I'm waiting on the guy that took me to the barbecue because I need his lanyard to sneak in through the vendor door, so I'm not buying a ticket. You know what I'm saying? And he's not getting up. Right, it's like 7 o'clock. Like the early birds can get in at 9, and he's not getting up. I'm like, oh my god, Seth, get out of your fucking bed. Get out of the bed. It's like the show started. It's been like fucking 45 minutes. I'm in the car for like an hour and 45. I'm like this. I was like, bro, if I need to buy a ticket, let me know. Because I'll buy one.
I just drove all the way to Chicago.
I'm going in the show. Then he finally calls. He's like, I'm here, where you at? I'm like, motherfucker, I've told you 10 times. He's like, come around the side door. And then we finally go in and
You might just sneak Blaine in somewhere.
Right. Dude that's been working the door for the past 2 days was like, I haven't seen this big son of a bitch once.
The only person bigger than me yet.
But you know me, I'm talking like a motherfucker. I'm like, how you doing, brother? Oh, I ain't gonna do nothing bad. Don't worry about me.
Nah, you just act like you're supposed to be there. Most of the time you can get it anywhere.
But it was great though because everybody was like, I was wearing his homie Jacob's tag, and they were like, "What's up, Jacob?" I'm like, "Just another day at the reef shine, guys." Just bullshitting. But I got to meet Peter. Like I said, I saw him. I run into him at the show.
Yeah.
And he's like the PA announcer of the show and shit. They've got the podcast doing live. They playing music and shit. We're shooting the shit at the table where the guy Blaine and I'm wearing. They sell T-shirts and stuff, and they're the Reef Shine guys. They make moonshine and sell it and stuff, but they're a pretty cool bunch. But Peter walks up and we're shooting shit, and he's like, "Man, you want to do an interview on the podcast?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah." Fuck yeah, dude. It's like dream come true, you know what I'm saying? I'm nervous as fuck. I'm talking about I could write my name with my asshole because my sphincter was so tight. He's like, I just don't want to look like that. I'm like, this is my chance of fame. Yeah. I'm going down in the books.
How far were you into reefing at this point?
Like less than a year probably. And I'm trying to act like I'm about that life. Like,
yeah.
I know everything about alkalinity. Of course, you dump fucking magnesium in there to get it to go up. But anyways.
I know everything about alkalinity.
So we run this first podcast, and I kill it. Like, don't skip a beat, word for word, didn't have no trouble. And he was like, man, that was fucking awesome. And takes his headphones off, and he's like, fuck. I'm like, what? He's like, I forgot to hit the record button, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, bro, my heart dropped. I was like, no way. Like, there's no way it's going to sound better the second time. Like, I'm trying to remember the shit I said.
We know that for a fact.
Man, it was so fucked. Like, it's funny now because I've done so many of them with him now that it's just like, it's comical to think about because I was like so fucking mad. Because I was like, that sounds so stupid. At one point, I'm like, newborns and like 80-year-olds, and saying like elderly, like there ain't no 80-year-olds in that motherfucker. But it sounded dumb. But yeah, that was.
So you think reefing's definitely your niche? I would say it
for
probably
sure.
is.
I'm a people person. You know what I'm saying? I want to be on like the customer relations side, sales side.
Yeah.
People just like to talk to me, and that's what I'm good at. I feel like most of the time.
Yeah.
And so you described it like that's your passion now, right?
For sure, right? Like that's the people I want to be around because I can express the same excitement and feeling that everybody else would.
But your original passion is football.
Yes, die hard football as it fucking gets.
So did you get injured? Is that why you finally hung them up, or?
Yeah, and life in general.
Let's go through like your football timeline. You don't have to go into detail.
Now I'm gonna have to cry for you guys.
No.
So anyway,
you obviously played your entire life.
Yeah, so I played since I was 5. Went to high school, White House. Can we get rowdy in here? Can I go there, or are we gonna get in trouble?
Starship Reefing is now here. I don't know if you know.
Oh damn! What up, Dustin? You missed me talking about you earlier, little.
About him.
The driver. Was he the driver?
Dustin's the driver. He's the one that got me into reefing. Like I was talking about, he went to Chicago with me. Yep. Gotta go this trip.
Load up. We're going to Chicago.
Yeah. He's ready to go.
Like the Blues Brothers.
Tries to sneak Blaine's in somewhere.
Well, Dustin's made it even worse because like he don't have a lanyard. You know what I'm saying? He's with me, so he's like just trying to tag along because everybody's got wristbands or a lanyard and he ain't got shit.
Oh, I'm his agent.
But we walked in and out like 100 times. Like we both had on Starship Briefing shirts. Shout out to my Ironwork from Walmart. They look like, I look at it back now and I'm like, damn, you look like ghetto as fuck. Like looks like total trash. But it was so fucking cool and surreal. Like we felt like we were king shit because we fucking made it.
And it was all the
You know what I'm
you
saying?
showed on there. That's where y'all were, right?
Yes, right.
And you didn't go last year, obviously.
No, yeah, right. COVID. And that's the thing is like my plan was like I make a couple of these shows. You know what I'm saying? The more I get around people and the more they get used to me, the more opportunities I'm gonna have.
Yeah, and next time you just need to plan it where you can just take your wife and boys. You don't have to drive friggin' at 10 p.m. to Chicago.
Oh no, well, I mean I would love to take my wife and children, but they would lose their mind. I mean you gotta understand, I'm walking around the building 400 times. I've seen the same tank 20 times before I decided to buy a Corral. Like it's cool for the kids the first couple of times around.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But I'm there, and like
you
now
have to find something for them to do while you're walking around the damn.
Right, and like now I'm at the point
makes
to where
sense.
like if I was there, probably Reef These Network's going to be there, so I'm going to be working my booth. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's not. They'll be wanting to stop by. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, but like they're not to a point to like my wife doesn't care about corals. You know what I'm saying? She likes the fish, but to her it's just annoying that I'll be spending outrageous money sometimes with coral because I always can make it back, but or it's just like that I'll be like dealing with like fish tank shit everywhere. Like I'm so messy. Like I just look like I'll have fish food in this drawer and something over here.
Lars.
Right, Lars. It's always fucking Lars. I'm the king of Lars, but like I said, I'm on YouTube. I'm documented. You can check me out. I don't even remember where we're at.
Football.
But anyways,
so high school football.
Because
we were going back to your first passion, I'd say, right?
Was a baller.
His offensive line. Go ahead and pull it up. 2009 White House. No, I'm just kidding. There is a highlight tape out there with him on it, but their offensive line was huge, massive, and defensive line.
You should be able to Google me. I don't think it works anymore, but you don't want to because it's just going to be bad memories. I don't know how far I can go on here. Is there like a lot of diehard BDP fans on here? Like, am I going to break some hearts if I start talking about some of the backdoor stuff?
I don't know what you mean backdoor wise.
I just wanted to talk a little football.
Oh yeah, you for sure.
Okay, I'll try to leave it as like so. Coach John Doe and me didn't get along a whole lot,
Which goes for most people that play for him, I believe.
Right. My biggest, I don't know. I was ready to get out of White House. Like when at my time of my senior year, like I'm just ready to get out of this town. I know that I'm built for bigger and better things. And he was against that. Like I'm not one to hard to preach. But both of you have been around athletics. Like, bro, I hate to do this because somebody's going to drill me on this later talking about this, but
Who gives a shit?
okay, seriously, guy, like put it out here now, like not one scholarship offer, not one,
I don't know how.
not one. And like once again, didn't make all region. I'm the only guy out of our senior class, like 2 other guys that were struggling, that didn't make all. I made all state, all mid state. I was in the fucking all star, the East and West all star game, Mr. Football candidate, but didn't make all regions.
Yeah, I
The
remember.
coaches vote, damn.
That's the only one.
Literal Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee candidate, no college scholarship. That's what you're telling us.
And so, like, I can only preach and harp on one situation that I know. Like, I've heard a lot of people tell me different stories. Like, from here, there, they knew about this and they knew about this. The only 2 stories I know is like, me and Matthew Parker both got elected to go to the All Star game. We both had letters from Vanderbilt and and not even a DVD. I think it was a VHS if I can remember correctly. It might have been a DVD, but just a letter and a thing. And it might have been just congratulations for making the All Star game, because that's the only other letter I got in high school was the MTSU saying congratulations. Me and Parker never saw him. Like, we went in the office that day for him to tell us that we made the All Star game, and then like I saw him on the desk, and it was just like nothing after that. Once again, I'm not talking about, bro. I'm talking about NAIA, nothing. Nope. I'm like one of the top offensive linemen in the state. And like I said, I'm not the best. I'm probably in like the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the top 20.
You're a large motherfucker.
Not
dude.
one school. You know what I'm saying? Right? I'm way bigger than everybody. Right. And not one school. Like, if it wasn't for the fact
And
that
athletic, not just large, like super athletic.
in the All-Star game, like if I wouldn't have played in the All-Star game, I went to school where we played the All-Star game. They were like, you don't have any offers? I was like, no. They were like, well, we'll sign you today. I was like, okay, let's do this. And I know, like, my brother went to some MTSU camps, and when he signed up, he claimed that they asked me, they said, you blame his brother? And they were like, he said, yeah, and they said, why he never get back to us? But once again, I don't know that personally. That's from my brother's mouth. Like, the only thing I know about is the Vanderbilt shit.
I would say it's probably true. I'd say it's probably true.
And
I know a first-hand story of someone who was a pretty fucking good punter, dude. Like,
right.
pretty good.
Oh, I mean, it's wild. Now you
got a letter like 5 weeks after it was sent to the school from a pretty big school.
Right. You got to imagine that. Like,
I'll tell you from my coaching experience, some of the elderly coaches, their mailbox is always full and they never check it.
They don't give a shit.
Porter checks it. We'll go ahead and throw it out there, Coach Porter. I hope you watch this.
Nah, he won't. But that dude always just stroked his own ego and didn't give a shit.
But that's the problem, right? It's
We
like
all
he
know
didn't
that.
want anything to take away from. He didn't want it to be like, y'all need to worry about Blaine Boone, that big motherfucker in White House. He wants it to be, y'all need to be worried about White House.
Let's all be honest. Like, you were big and like whatnot, but like Rogers Gaines went to TSU for Christ's sake.
Right.
That dude should have been playing D1 SEC football somewhere.
He
Like,
never
let's
allowed
be
sacks
honest.
his senior years.
Like, let's be honest. This guy played at TSU. Let's be honest. Not the brightest crowd in the box at the time.
sure.
Like, didn't give a shit about school, like that type of
Until
stuff.
he got to college, right? But then somebody made him.
But he had a good coach in college, obviously, that made him give a fuck, and he's done well.
Yeah, that's
and he's done well, but like that dude should have been playing somewhere other than TSU.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just blows my mind. Like, and I don't even know how many letters Rogers received. I've never really talked to him about it, but I don't know, just embarrassing to, and like especially like when I'm talking to other college athletes at all these events and shit, and they're like, "Man, you got your letter from?" And I'm like, "Nobody." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Shit, I don't know, homie." But I mean, it is what it is. Like, I take it with a grain of salt because I don't know what it would have changed. I went to school, Carson Newman out in Knoxville, Tennessee. I will speak on one more thing. If you ever walked through the White House locker room or back in the day, there's like a little wall of fame for all the guys who played in the All-Star game. And the coaches there to take a photo with. Well, you know, it wasn't a surprise that when me and Matthew went to the fucking All-Star game, no coach made the game.
I think I remember this.
And there was never a fucking photo.
Oh, there's no photo.
Well, there was. So, like, 5 years later, I don't know if she happened to be in the locker room or something, but Matthew's mom, Melinda, walks through there and doesn't see the photo. And she's like, hell no.
So she took a photo of you too.
Right. She had pictures from us from the game. I think we have our own individual, which I think they've changed it up now, but we had our own individual photos. Like I said, it's just a bunch of crop shit. I mean, I understand, but it is what it is. Like I said, I don't got no excuses because
But you played football for a long time though.
Right.
So like you say all that, but like you played football for a long time. You stopped playing football, what, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah, I played last year.
Oh, you did play last year?
I might play this year. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I can't
it
get
still
over
plays
it. Like,
football,
you know
dude.
I went to college, threw that away. I just got put on a pedestal. I don't have any excuse for that. I was just treated like, instead of being treated like every other freshman, I was put on a pedestal. So like, everybody was like, "Are you coming tonight?" And I'm like, "Am I?" I'm like, because I'm a young as shit, you know what I'm saying? All these dudes are seniors, juniors, shit. I'm going out every night, not going to class. Yeah. So I cost myself that ride. And then I'm out of football for 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And my grandmother runs into a dude at her church, or I'm there or something, and he mentions, like, your grandson ever played semi-pro football or something, or ever heard of semi-pro? And I'm like, no. The fuck is this? And basically he's like, you need to go check it out. So I drive to Nashville one night.
This is the Bulldogs?
No, this is the Storm. So this is
like first team you're on.
The Nashville Storm was like the true.
I remember that.
That's Tennessee's
team.
Real team. It folded. A lot of shit went down, but they were real deal. Like,
I remember that team.
Semi-pro is extremely hard to deal with because you need people to show up to practice, and everybody's got normal ass jobs. You know, like 99.9% of these guys aren't getting paid, and most of them are paying to play. You know what I'm saying?
You're buying your own equipment.
Right. The Storm had that shit, though. Everybody came to practice. We're having 50 people every Tuesday and Thursday at field in Nashville.
Shit.
And we're traveling and stuff. So semi-pro. So I
You have like a coach? Some people just sign up to coach? Like they
Oh, no. We all had, when I did the Storm, we had fucking 11 coaches. And they're all professional coaches. And that's the hard part is like, it's hard when you're dealing with grown-ass men because you can't talk to them like you talk to a high school.
No, you ain't paying me shit.
Right,
I do what the fuck I want out here.
So it's like a hard balance that you have to establish that dominance or the team's going to run all over you. And that's what's going on now in semi-pro. There's just nobody to lock it up. And the ones who do lock it up, nobody wants to play.
You did that one year. Y'all won it all.
Yeah. But the Storm anyway. So I get down there to practice and they're like, it starts raining. And like the coach is like, you my new offensive lineman? And I'm like, yeah. It starts raining here. I was like, I guess we're going to meet on Thursday. He's like, yeah, I'm going to practice. I said, we ain't got enough days for that. Go out there and have a great practice. Once again, put on a pedestal, which is like my worst thing. Is like, I fucking do a kick step. He's like, who's your coach taught you how to do a kick step? And I'm like, you're not going to fucking know Lambert. You know what I'm saying? Coach Mark Lambert, actually. He's like, y'all want to know how to do a kick step? This ain't it. So anyway, we
Coach Irish got to have a fucking kick step.
We go to Huntsville, Alabama, and to pat myself on the shoulder, I get off. Like, we played way better because you got to think, like, at this point, my life is ruined through a lot of depression. Yeah. Because, like, my dream was to play football. And then I'm getting another shot, and I'm around a ton of people that I don't know. And much less, it's like, I'm one of the few white kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm feeling very pressured to perform in front of all these people. But I just go nuts. Like, one of my highlights, if I was going to make one from that game, like, tackle blitzes off the edges and knock him off his feet, and the linebacker comes the last second, tries to jump over him. I fucking decleated him. But the coach comes after the game, and he's like, you want to know how to get after it? He's like, you watch this motherfucker. I'm standing there like, fucking goddamn right you do. I feel like $1 million. They're all
ready to go lift a car. Ready to go
like,
pick your car up in the parking lot.
They're like, dude, you're crazy, man. We fuck with you, brother. They're like, God damn, son of a bitch. By the time we had somebody out here whooping ass. So I'm in it, you know what I'm saying? As soon as all this comes out, I'm locked in. Like, let's go to practice. Let's do this shit. First year in, like, Nashville Storm has been winning national championships. So this is like adult. This is semi-pro, like adult red league, but we're traveling nationally to play. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a spring season here where local teams are played, but when summer ball gets here, it's only one. You're on one team, and you're going to be on the team. Like, there's other teams that play summer ball, but they ain't about that life. Mm-hmm. The Nashville Storm has won national championships for a year. We've been in the national championships for I don't know how long. We whip ass throughout the year. I'm feeling on cloud nine because, once again, like, we're not losing. We're like one of the best teams in the nation. You know what I'm saying? We're stomping everybody's ass.
So you're on that pedestal?
Yes. Once again, riding that pedestal. I'm like, fucking, we're the baddest motherfuckers. Like, ain't nobody coming to the games. Like, maybe 50 people. Like, not anything like I'm used to. Yeah. But I'm like, it didn't matter because my homies thought I was shit.
Well, it's because you played football at White House when people still went to the games.
Right.
Now you would play in front of 50 people if you went to the games now.
Oh, God. I haven't been back to the game since I graduated.
Oh, it's bad. So, you would be depressed to see the people.
But I'll never forget. So then we're going to play. Well, something happened. National championship gets canceled. Like we made it all the way, made the thing. Then 2 weeks later, like 2 months go by, and they call. And they're like, if y'all want to play the national championship, y'all got to get to Racine, Wisconsin. Y'all got to get to Racine, you got 2 weeks. So they're trying to call everybody to get everybody to come back to practice. Well, nobody goes to fucking practice. Like, hardly anybody's there for the 2 weeks, and we're packing the bus up and going to Racine. I've been all around the country and watched all these semi-pro teams. Racine was like White House in Portland back in the day. Bro, I've never, and I don't know if I've ever been in a stadium like that. We showed up and got out at the gas station, and we had our shit on, Nashville Storm shit, and the lady said, oh, y'all that team that drove from Nashville drove all the way up here to get your ass whooped.
Oh, shit.
And like they had signs throughout the city and shit as we're pulling around, and
For semi-pro.
yeah, they live and breathe that shit out there. But they're, like I said, they're a powerhouse. And it's a small community. Like,
Well, it's Wisconsin.
if you could get semi-pro, like in fucking like Hendersonville or somewhere like Gallatin, Westmoreland, like somewhere where there ain't shit going on, you'd make a killing. But Nashville, I mean, there's just too many sports teams. You're not getting no pull. Like we're one of the winningest teams in Tennessee ever in history.
Yeah.
And you just won't ever hear about us because like it's just not. Not to mention, like, we were all fucking fighting and cussing and shit after the game. There's smoking weed in the parking lot. Like, you ain't gonna bring your kids that shit.
No.
But it's fun football. I mean, it's just football that's rawest form, you know what I'm saying? Just guys out here trying to prove who's the best. But we go to Racine and we can't even get out the locker room. They are jammed into the doors. Like, we can't get out. And, like, we walk out and we're in a single file line and they know our names and our fucking numbers. Like, they studied and came prepared. The sidelines behind us was full and it was nobody in our fans. And then like they're about that life. Like they come out with the big blown up helmet and smoke and the whole nine. The crowd's going fucking nuts. And I'm like, I'm a little intimidated. I'm like, shit. They're way more put together. Like, and we're one of the most put together teams because the Storm had a rich ass white dude named Bill Caldwell who took care of the team. Like paid for certain players to come play. You know what I'm saying? Paid for the buses and everything to travel. But they were better because they had the fan support. They were making plenty of money. You know what I'm saying? But so they come out, run out. They're all fucking big motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like they're definitely got the top athletes too. First play of the fucking game, we throw like an 85-yard touchdown. Crickets. And we're going nuts. We're like, you ain't played us, motherfucker. You ain't never been a motherfucker like me. Oh, it got ugly quick though. Oh, you can tell. Offensively, they couldn't touch us, but our defense had nothing for them, bro. They could not, our defense was, our cornerbacks and shit were getting burnt like crazy. We ended up losing. I got on the bus with my shit still on. Like, I've never had that embarrassment in my life because, like, I was like, we're winning the national championship. Like, we beat the fuck out of everybody. We're going to stop this Racine team.
You wore your helmet to the bus?
Yes. Everybody else was in the locker room getting undressed. I'm like, nope. I'm like, I'll ride all the way back to Nashville like this. Fuck these motherfuckers. I was like, y'all slaw defense.
Quit after that.
And that's the thing is like the problem is like it's so hard to get that like team thing because like you're not spending every time like when you're in college and shit in high school and even in most professionals you spend a ton of time together. But in semi-pro, everybody's got a different job. This guy works at McDonald's. This guy's a lawyer. This guy's a night shift at the jail. So there's so many different backgrounds. There's so many. This guy's from Cottontown or this guy's from Metro. It's like. And you're trying to push all these guys together to mold as one team, and so like there's a lot of arguing about everybody wants to play because I'm not coming to practice every week and traveling around the country and not getting to step on the field. There's some guys that are okay with that. Some guys want to ride the wave. They just want to come. That's okay. They want to get their ring and move on.
Never.
Yeah, not gonna happen here. Bro, I signed the guy when I coached. I signed the dude who was 58 years old.
Really?
Named Hollywood. This motherfucker showed out the first day with like a mink, a fucking scarf underneath his helmet. Like, I was blown away. Like, one of the most funniest white dudes you ever meet. But,
I'd have signed him too.
Has like a sniper in the back of his Jeep. He's like, yeah, you like that, don't you? And he's like stealing meat from the meat factory to sell to everybody. Wild character. But I was like, fuck yeah, you're going to be on my team. Like, the oldest motherfucker out here. Let's go. So it's the same. You get all walks of life when you do semi-pro. Just like who wants to keep on fucking playing.
Did you ever get the fulfillment you were looking for?
Yeah. So first year I played the semi-pro. We're off in the season, and I'm sitting at work at Macy's. I was security. I'm sitting at my desk, and my coach calls me. One of my coaches played in the NFL and had some connections, and he's like, "Hey, have you ever considered playing arena?" And I'm like, hell no, I've seen it, but I don't know nothing about the game. Like, I don't know none of the rules, none of that shit. And he's like, well, I've got a coach. The Knoxville Nighthawks are looking for linemen right now, and I gave him your name and number. So I'd be expecting this call. I get a call from him, and they want me to come to Knoxville and go to camp and all that shit. Drive out to Knoxville, went through camp. They tried me at center like multiple times. I didn't love the center position. I was like, you're either going to get the snap and I'm not going to make the block, or I'm just going to fly that motherfucker back there and I'll make the block. Got to do a little bit, like we drove to Huntsville to practice with the Alabama Hammers and shit, doing their little camp, came back, and like this was like before I even understood how pro worked, like money and all that, and like it's a business.
This wasn't that long ago either, right?
Oh no, this was 7 years ago.
Oh damn, that didn't feel like that long ago.
So this is when I find out my wife's pregnant. Because I'm in Knoxville playing arena, or doing camp with arena. And the coach is kind of like, we got to the end of camp, whatever, and I made it through all the cuts. It's the final cut, and he was like, "We're going to try." Basically, says that we're going to try another guy because I'm not doing center. And I'm like, I feel you. I was like, he said, "Is there anything you want to talk about?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't feel like I got to show my potential. I'm not a fucking center."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you want my body type at center, but I'm not a center. I can play tackle. I can block these motherfuckers. So, anyways. He's like, but I'd like to keep your phone number so I can call you. I go home. I'm there home for 4 days. This is when I find out my wife's pregnant, all this, yada. And then he called me back. He's like, you think you could probably come back up here? Because I guess they're watching film or whatever. You think you come back up here? And I'm like, hell no. Ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. I got a kid on the way. I'm not prepared to be in another fucking city. You know, I'm going to pay for my wife to move out here. You know what I'm saying? Or my girlfriend at the time, we weren't even married.
Yeah. So
that was a whole another ball game. Come home, dealing with the baby shit. I get a call from another friend of mine that's playing arena in Owensboro, Kentucky. They're looking for a lineman. He gave my name. So I drive to Louisville. He picks me up. We go to Louisville. Never played arena in my life. Don't know a single fucking play out the playbook. Show up and they are taking, like when I'm walking in, they're breaking down to go on the field. So I'm like flying, getting shit on, you know what I'm saying? Like getting my jersey on and all this shit. Jesus Christ. Run out on the field and I'm getting ready to play in front of fucking all these fucking people at this arena stadium. First fucking play, the quarterback gets hurt. Rolls his ankle stepping back. Oh, God. We have no backup quarterback. Get fucking dragged. I don't remember. We had a corner playing quarterback, and it was they kept trying to run the ball, wasn't doing shit. Like in arena, you gotta be able to pass. Yeah. Golden fucking rule.
You gotta throw the football.
But the cool thing was,
Did he get hurt because of you?
No, he just was raw. He's stepping back and ran under his ankle when it happened.
God.
So then the cool part is though, so then I find out in arena that linemen are eligible. A certain one. There's a tight end. So I'm the tight end. I'm number 4. I'm hyped up when I got my jersey. I'm like, shit, number 4. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling far, big time. And it's toward the end of the game, and I'm like, hey, man, where you scored a touchdown. I can't remember if I scored a touchdown or 2-point conversion in the first game, but I was like, you need to throw me the fucking ball. The receivers weren't catching the ball. And I'm at the point that I'm so floored, and I don't know none of these fucking deals. And I'm like, throw me the fucking ball.
Yeah, I get you some of it.
So I dip him out, the first guy out. I took 2 steps and turned around. He threw the ball, jumped up and caught it. Yeah, we still got our ass whooped.
Yeah.
So next week we signed Jared Lorenzen.
Yeah.
Fucking hefty lefty from the University of Kentucky.
Yes,
thank you, man.
He's gone.
Big Jared's journey. I hated that for him.
Yeah.
One of the coolest motherfuckers you ever meet, bro. Straight up. Was cool as shit, but he's huge. He's my size. He's 330 at quarterback. And was one of, and
he
then,
can move. He can still move.
Bro, that motherfucker would fall, the slowest fall you'd ever seen. When they tackle him, he'd be like, oh, just kind of not try to fight it at all, just kind of slowly, gently fall down. But once I caught that first pass, it was on Donkey Kong. We get inside the 20, hey, it's time to run the same play, because it always works. You run all the receivers to the opposite side of the field, this whole secondary leaves. I let the defensive end beat me, because he thinks he's won. I just fucking turn around and run straight. I'm wide the fuck open every time. It always works once.
How many players are out there? 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 7.
7.
So you just kept getting receiving yards?
Oh yeah, touchdowns. So see, that's the thing is I never ran it on anything long. It's just like when we're close to the goal line or you need a quick first down, it always worked. And it would work multiple times, but it always worked once.
But then your team went down, right?
No, we fucking started winning. Yeah, it did end up going down after that, but
the team went down. I remember.
We went to fucking.
So are you still living around here and driving?
Yes, driving to fucking Owensboro and making shit money. I think I was only making like $200 a game, but I was just excited to be playing professional ball. So then we go to like Marion, Indiana. So now I'm having to drive to fucking Owensboro and then get on a bus and travel to the next place. And we play the Blue Racers, who are the #1 team in this arena league, and we're down by like 28 at one point and come back to win at the very end. And I'm part of like the winning 2 touchdowns that won. Like I was showing dude at work the other day. I was like, this is when I was a baller now. Just like I'm so hyped as a lineman to catch the ball. And bro, it's like a cheat code in arena because the plays are so fast. And as long as I put my hands on the defensive end, he's not going to make the play. You know what I'm saying? The quarterback's going to throw the ball before
Still
you
throwing it like within 2-3
right,
seconds.
yeah, it's like a cheat for a lineman. That's what I'm saying. It's so cool when you're the tight ends. Because you have to deal with that throughout the game, but then you get to turn around and make plays.
Oh, definitely for you. A kid who grew up always having to play on the line.
Correct.
Never throwing you the ball.
And I remember, like, Jared would always say, he's like, let's get Boone his fucking touchdown so he'll shut up. Because you know me, I'm like, every time we get close, I'm like, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. But I be doing dances and all kinds of shit, acting like a fool. I'll never forget when my wife's family came to watch me play the team from Cincinnati. Something happened at the chain crew, and my wife's father ends up like volunteering to be on the chain crew. And I remember like doing a touchdown. I remember scoring a touchdown and being like making sure like I was super extra, like ran over to him, spiked it, and did my little celebration dance and shit. And I was like, yeah, that could be your future son-in-law. Just saying, could be. You know, I'm hyped up. I'm like, fuck yeah.
That's funny.
That is great.
But I'll never forget in Louisville, they had our had wood behind it. Our walls had wood. And I've seen people in practice like get knocked through the wall, like make the wall move. My plan, I thought that I was gonna take somebody fucking through the wall. That was my plan. But anyways, I'm in Louisville and I've got dude on his tippy toes, running back. I'm like, here we go. I hit that motherfucker as hard as I could into the wall, and there was solid cement behind it, bro. You know talking about, bro, knocked me off my feet. I hit the wall, and fucking fell back on my ass. It looked so trash on film. I'm like, wow.
It didn't give at all.
No, solid fucking brick, but did arena for a while, then fucking got injured, went to coaching. Had a great time coaching, but once again, you get tired of coaching fucking grown-ass men. You want to act like little boys. And it's just hard because, like I said, everybody's got their own problems. So it's like, I can only sit here and yell at a motherfucker so much before he's going to one-punch me in my fucking face and then we're having a full scrap out. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. And you got to show them real quick who's the fucking boss. Like, you can run your shit and you can talk your shit, but you're going to be running laps so you ain't going to be playing. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be out here doing front flips, everybody going to sit here and watch you do them, or, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what fuck. Like, one dude, I'll never forget the first time I had to put somebody in line, Billy fucking Bailey, I told him, he ran his mouth on Facebook in the group. And I was like, you're not fucking dressing. So he fucking shows up to the game and he's got his shit on. In front of everybody. And I'm like, why you got your shit on? I was like, you're not fucking playing? He's like, I know that. I said, so take your fucking shit off. I was like, I said, you can sit on the sideline and cheer for your homies, but you're not coming out here and your shit today. And he got all his feelings, but he couldn't say shit because he wants to play.
Yeah.
You know, your only other option is to go play for one of the teams that don't win. So, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? Like, and like, that's the problem. It's just so hard, especially like, because you have to establish that respect without overdoing your boundaries. Like, I can't fucking full on put dude on front. But he needs to know that I'm the fucking king. Like, I know you've talked shit to some of these other coaches, but like, if we're gonna play on my team, and it has to be that way. It's not like I'm trying to be that way.
No, I know what you're saying.
I have to be that way
because they're grown men.
Right.
How often do you see like the same teammates fighting each other? Have these same grown men out here?
Oh, bro, I've had dudes on the sideline walk up and cold clock each other.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like. He goes in. This guy's supposed to go in at receiver this play. This other guy runs out on the field before he can, so he got to stay back. And he comes out and is like,
you have
"What? That was not real, motherfucker!"
Like he'd be like, "Coach told me to come in." And he's like, "I'm not coming off the fucking field." You know what I'm saying? Like, even I've been guilty of that plenty of times. Like, the coaches don't want to pull me in the third quarter because we're up by 40 points. I'm like, yeah, just fucking no. You can pull me out of the fucking. When I say I'm done, we can be done. Right now, I'm still trying to get my stats right. You know what I'm saying? It's only a stat game for everybody else.
He's over here looking at you, Blaine, like this.
But and it's fucked up because I ended up playing, like, when I started and like when I played in a professional, it was all offense. But now I play strictly defense.
Yeah.
But I always end up playing fucking offense is the problem. They'd be like, we can't get a fucking run. Can you go in for a play? And it's just like I end up playing multi. And like I'm out of shape like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't go to practice ever. I got too much shit going on.
Yeah.
Nobody really does anymore. That's the problem with semi-pro. It's burnout now. Everybody thinks they're too good for practice.
Including you?
Including me. I'm a star example.
Yeah.
Star example. I called the owner the other day. They're in the group, the dogs. And there's a new coach, and he's trying to establish his dominance and all that. And I called the owner, and I was like, and I got him to start the team, or he called me out of the blue, and I was like, hey, man, I'm just letting you, can you let coach know I'm not going to make it to practice today? Because he knows I ain't fucking coming. And regardless of all these posts, if you don't show up, you're not playing. Like, if I show up, I guarantee you I'm going to have my jersey sitting there waiting on me. But
you got to have a lineman.
Right, yeah. So the Storm, and that's the hard part in semi-pro, is like, there's thousands of athletes. There's very minimal good linemen. There's a lot of fat slobs, but to have a good fucking lineman and then to have 5 of them is the hardest. Like that's where semi-pro teams who are nationals are teams who've got big fucking offensive defensive linemen that can play. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the Oklahoma Thunder, the Gods, the semi-pro football team, all of their offensive linemen are my size or bigger. Like
hard to beat.
The only team that I fucking played that where I'm like, fuck, this is gonna suck. It's not gonna have no stats hardly. Like I got a sack on him. The last time we played, like I didn't play in the championship against them, but I played in the regular season game against them. We scheduled on the regular season and we fucking beat them finally. Like we've lost to them like at the Storm and Bulldogs like probably 7 or 8 times.
So a lot of the Storm guys become Bulldog guys?
Yeah, so Storm plays out. We win a couple national championships. Basically, Bill's got sick, the owner, who's been funneling money and funneling this whole thing, and he decides to be done with the team. He's gonna sign the team over to the head coach. He's gonna sign him over all the money. It'd be enough for like the buses and hotels for the rest of the year. You know, yada, blah blah.
Okay, this guy's
right. So the coach
fun money.
Then the coach decides like he's smoking like fake weed and like got on crack, I guess, and like spent all the fucking money basically. Like so. Anyway, so I'm not playing for the Storm at this point.
Yeah.
I played like 1 or 2 games. And then they go somewhere, and when like I don't remember where they were in another state, and then they go back to the hotel room, they're locked out of the hotel room because the bill ain't been paid.
Oh
no.
So and they're having to chip together money. They find this out at halftime. Like the refs aren't finishing the game because that team's supposed to pay the refs. Like like there's rules and shit to pay.
You got to pay them so much at the beginning and the rest at the end.
Tyler, will you hand that to me? I'm too fat to bend over, man.
This?
Yes, you're a champ. Fat friends always appreciate your skinny friends. They'll do a lot of shit for you. But anyways, he blows off. They can't get back in the hotel room. The refs aren't going to finish the game. Big shit show, big conundrum. It's all over semi-pro news. You know what I'm saying? Like the Nashville Storm are folding. Everybody's fucking done. So I get a random call one day from this fucking dude I met. Like one time he had a flag football tournament in Portland. And I brought the Storm players and we played in the tournament to try to win. Lost to a team that does flag football for real, and they kicked our ass. Their plays were great. But anyways, he calls me and I'm like, hey, like I don't know, dude. You know what I'm saying? I just talked to him at the thing. And he was like, I want to start a fucking semi-pro team. And I was like, okay, cool. Figure like the local spring team, as springtime was coming up. And I was like, man, I can't play no more. I got a bum knee. You know what I'm saying? I can't play. He's like, well, I don't want you to play. I want you to coach. And I'm like, well, shit, man, that would be fucking fun. I can't be around football, so why not coach? And he's wanting to do black and red Bulldogs. And I was like, if you want to get the best players, I was like, you need to stick with purple. I said, go black and purple because a lot of the Storm players already have purple swag. We've got purple cleats, purple gloves, purple sleeves. So they're not having to go out and spend money
smart
to buy other colors. Easier to bring them over. So then I start calling some of the best athletes that I know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, I want to be coaching a team. Why don't you come play with me in spring ball? And let's fucking do this. So we have a fucking tryout. I should have brought the DVD. But we have a tryout at Saunders Ferry Park in Hendersonville.
Yeah.
There's a fucking 100 people here. Oh, shit. Like the dude who's the big guy, Ricky, who's running the team, has put all this money in advertisement. Like, we're out there. I'm mic'd up, like, ratchet as fuck out there with, like, the lake in the background. Like, having no idea what, like, we're running the dumbest drills. Like, I'm not paying attention because I already know who I'm signing. You know what I'm saying? But turns out this huge ordeal. Like, everybody showed up. So, fucking, we go through spring and we fucking whoop everybody's ass. and fucking win the championship. And so spring's over, and it's kind of like, here comes summer ball, you know, the big shaboy, and there's no fucking Nashville Storm anymore, and everybody's tripping. So Ricky's like, well, why don't we just go compete in the GDFL like the Storm did? And then it got way crazier. So then we talk about that, and now everybody because a lot of people didn't play for the Storm because they had that bad taste in their mouth, like they didn't like some of the Storm players, some of the coaches. Well, we had all new coaching staff, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coaching, and I've got a couple of players that have coached, but we're some of like that way more assistant coaches, like down the line. Now they're playing more key roles. And so I've got a ton of new people that want to play. Like, all of a sudden, a lot of these Dixon kids show up in the semi-pro. Like, there's a Dixon team, and I get all their best players. And so we go into summer, we're practicing. Scott Wallace got us a spot at the fairgrounds. We're practicing at the fairgrounds 100 fucking people deep. It's nuts. And competing and having fun. So I'm sitting there, it's like, saying, dig hard. I'm like, we're the fuck is this? We're going to be the best. And so we start in a smaller league. We decided not to go to the GDFL. We went to the MSFL or Mid-South Football League, whatever. And we're fucking training motherfuckers. Like, we beat one team like 84-0.
Jesus Christ. If I'm on that other team and I ain't getting paid, I'm going home.
I'm cussing my players out. Like, we went to one game and beat a team, but I'm cussing them because we ain't win by more. Like, and I'm frustrated because, like, I'm having to talk to them like fucking kids. Like, that's the thing that bothers me. It's like, everybody that's out here has played football their whole life.
Yeah.
Everybody that's out here knows what the fuck they're supposed to be doing. But we'll argue with you, regardless if they're right or wrong. And it's just like, bro, I'm not going to waste my time away from my wife and kids to be out here dealing with y'all. The same shit you see on Last Chance of You, it is no fucking different, except it's way less control than they have there. I can't tell them to go home because they'll go home.
Yeah.
All right, fuck you then. I'll go smoke on the porch, chill with my homies.
Yeah.
Go back to whatever.
Over.
Yeah, so it's like, or I'll go to another team. But once you start winning, though, then you got them by the nuts. Because motherfucker, everybody wants to win. And there's been arguments. The Clarksville Rattlers, y'all suck nuts. You coach suck nuts. He knows it. He gets on there and bitches and complains and things. He made a post the other day. He's like, "What makes the coach great?" I said, "Well, in semi-pro, it's fucking wins."
Yeah.
I was like, because no matter what you base it on, ain't nobody coming driving to practice and driving these games if they ain't winning. I'm not. Ain't no fucking way. And everybody in there's just clowning his ass because, like, he wants it to be like being a great mentor to the guys, and it's like, it's not about that.
These dudes are grown men.
Right, like, I'm not out here to
I got
teach
mentored
them
in high
life
school.
stories and shit. Like, these motherfuckers are on the streets in the factories or fucking at home doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's got lives.
Right here to play football.
Right.
Yeah.
And doing it for nothing. Like, for nothing. Just because we want everybody around here in this little football crew to know we're number one.
Everybody in that group, that
Right.
big community group.
Well, you just love the sport. You're just trying
Right,
to.
it never goes
probably
away.
the same thing I get from just like I coach youth. Tyler coaches
You
high
in
school
there doing
level.
like some fucking shit.
I really don't because my body can't take it.
So
Like,
that's my thing I'm running
my
into
body's
now.
dead, so I can't. I can't. There's a lot of stuff I would love to show, but like my body just won't allow me to show it.
I know. I tried to practice more of this. I'm gonna practice more this year though, but I ain't
With the basketball girls.
yeah, much so.
Bro, when I get done with a football game, like the reason I don't play like I used to is because number one, like I'm way out of shape. Number two, every time I play, the next couple of days, it feels like somebody beat me with a hammer all night. Like I'm hurting everywhere. Now I've got like this knee is thrashed. I fucked this elbow up last year going snowboarding, so like I can only lock it out a certain way. It's like, bro, one wrong move. And fucking, I'm really hurt, and I got to deal with that at work and all kinds of shit.
You
I
got
was like,
kids
ain't
and
nobody
bills to
paying
pay.
my hospital
Yeah.
bills out here.
No.
But the addiction won't go away. Like, I've got a couple games lined up that I wasn't going to play because they weren't going to be local, but now they got canceled this weekend, and I had shit going on, so I couldn't play. But now
You just
maybe
need to
I'll
wait on
play.
that White House Portland alumni game, boy.
I did play. Don't.
Did you play one?
Man.
Did
Don't.
you play?
Don't get me juiced up. We can get live in here with y'all motherfucking alumni players and cheating. So we have quarterbacks that has never played for White House. I don't know who the coach was. I think he had a peg leg or something.
On the White House team?
Yes, I can't remember his name, but
He had a peg leg?
I'm coming out there once again, like feeling like I'm king shit because I'm still been playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm finna dominate every position. I've got videos of me at free safety, bro. Because I'm so livid. Yes, because the coach is fucking trash. The quarterbacks are trash. We're not doing shit. I'm playing receiver, and none of the receivers are catching the ball. Bro, I'm wide open, and the quarterback cannot throw it to me. Bro, they threw it to me 6 times, and it was never close.
Had to be Gordon King
Bro,
playing for you.
No, it was one black guy from Springfield and a white guy from Westmoreland, I think.
Why were they playing?
There's one play where I'm wide open. This is at Portland. I'm wide open, and the quarterback throws it like 10 feet in front of me into the dirt. So everybody's watching. I just act like I catch it. And I'm running down the field, and I'm like doing spin moves, and the crowd's going nuts. Like, they've been watching this all game because nobody wants to cover me because if they press coverage me, I'm going to knock them off their feet. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's playing way the fuck back. I'm just running little inside slants, little out routes. Let's get 10 yards to get down the field. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to run.
He can't get you the ball.
As soon as I catch the ball, I'm just going to sit. We're going to get 10 yards and move down the field.
I went the first year they did it, dude.
Bro, I
and,
was so frustrated.
You probably don't know Mounts, but I do. And he was one of the craziest people on the school, dude. He was so fired up to play that football game, dude. I thought he was going to fucking kill somebody. Like, golly, before the kickoff, he was fucking like running his fucking feet, dude. He was so ready to go fucking hit someone, dude. It was awesome.
Interesting story. Like, so they make you pay to play that game.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy that paid for me to play was a semi-pro guy that wanted me to come play for his spring team. That was like part of my contract. There was like a certain amount of money, and I was like, go ahead and play for that because he was playing for Portland.
What was it? You must have played in the second year because the third year White House stacked their team and then beat the shit out of Portland.
It had to have been the 4th year then because I would have played again if there was another one. This would have been. This was. I don't know.
They beat them. The last time they played, White House stacked their team, beat the shit out of them. I know that.
Portland beat that. It was like 6-0. I think it was only 1 touchdown. That's why I was so frustrated because like it'd be one thing if Portland was beating the fuck out of us. But like I said, I'm playing free safety and I'm coming downhill full flicker speed. Like I've got it on video where like, bro, if my friend was running the ball and I was like, bro, I fucking murdered the fullback. Like I get off on feeling like the next day he's gonna wake up and be like, fuck, I shouldn't have went against that big dude all night. Like, that gets me off thinking about, like, he's waking up the next morning and remembering me all day at work. Like, I got thrown on my ass so many times. You're like, Daddy, why was that big man picking you up and knocking you into the dirt all over and over again? And he was screaming at you and shit.
That's what you imagine he's saying when he wakes up?
Yeah, it gets my dick hard to think, like, this guy comes to practice, travels 8 hours to come down here and just get fucking thrown repeatedly or be turning around and looking at his quarterback in the dirt.
Can you imagine lining up for the first time? He's like, God, I shouldn't eat those crystals on the bus.
Everybody looks at me and says, you know you're way too goddamn big. And I'm like, yeah, I fucking know. Because I don't do nothing special. Just bull rush. It's easy.
Hello, Barry.
Barry in here?
Enough about my football career, though. I'm a fucking loser, and I still love it.
That's all right, dude.
Go Broncos.
Yeah, so I was trying to get into your passion of football to go in because we got to talk NFL draft because it's coming on next week anyway.
That is next week.
Yeah, to get into sports.
I think it's 10 days away. I think I saw a thing this morning, maybe less.
I think it's next Thursday. So the first round will already be over before we dabble again next week.
Perfect.
But I think he's in here. I don't know. I can't tell.
Well, the Titans do it 22. That's all the only team I care about.
It doesn't matter.
All right, anyways. So the NFL draft, so you're a Broncos fan?
Yes.
Are they going to draft a quarterback?
Yes. We're trading up. You can hear it here first. We're trading up with Atlanta. We're going after Justin Fields.
I thought you just drafted a quarterback not that long ago.
He's going to put us on. I don't care about Drew Lock. We're going to be put on by Justin Fields. We're going to have the first mobile quarterback in Denver Bronco history. We're going to change the offense. Nobody's going to be ready. I'm excited.
You think you're going to trade all the way up to 4?
Yes.
Justin Fields' kid that's only really played one season of football?
That's the guy from QB1.
He played it for Georgia, too. He was the backup and had his own package.
But he's only been a starter for one season.
Correct.
With Ohio State?
Yeah, how many Ohio State quarterbacks have been good in the NFL?
About like Alabama, I'm sure.
Oh, no, I know Josh Dobbs just signed a 4-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers again, though.
Did he really?
Dude, he's living the dream. He's getting to travel around the country,
I talk about
do
that
and
all
just
the
stand
time.
on the sideline and carry that book and learn the playbook.
Or like the long
Dude, he is
snapper.
living the dream.
So do you think that who do you think, how many quarterbacks are going to go in the first round? 5?
I would say
6?
4 minimum.
Yeah, at least 4 for sure. I'm wondering if that Trey Lance guy, we're looking at him too, but I'd rather have Fields if I had my choice.
So on this thing that I'm looking up, I don't know where my can is. This thing I was looking up, it has the Broncos moving up to pick 7 and taking Trey Lance. And that's because they believe Justin Fields is going to the 49ers.
I hope not.
Everyone is saying the 49ers are going to take Mac Jones. But
I just don't. I'm not a Mac Jones believer. I don't believe the hype. You know, more power to you. But that's like you talk about how many Ohio State players, quarterbacks do good in the NFL. There is never an Alabama quarterback who does good in the NFL. Ever. Since way back in the day.
that's true. I agree. This thing I'm looking at, Barrett, has the Patriots moving up to pick 10 to take Mac Jones. He says he predicts 6 QBs go in the first round. So do you think Kyle Trask is the 6th QB or some random QB? Because he could go, but I don't know. Washington Redskins need a quarterback. A lot of people need quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is they keep talking about the same 5 or 6 quarterbacks. They may all go the first round. I feel like there's a lot of other positions that need to be filled out. I'll be surprised if it goes to 6.
Me too.
I'm thinking really 4, but 5 wouldn't completely shock me.
I mean, the Broncos need a quarterback. The Patriots seem like they want a quarterback.
I would love to get an offensive lineman, but like I said, I'm not. I love Drew Lock and I appreciate what he did for our program, but I'm just not convinced. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need a quarterback that's going to change our game and change our game right now, and he's not it. Like, he's just not the one. So
I know, but do you think that you're just gonna let's say they don't trade up, they said no, the only quarterback to get is Trey Lance.
I won't be upset with that.
Trey Lance, the black kid?
Yeah, the one who's from where
I think he's actually mixed.
Well,
but,
he's brown skinned.
He's darker for sure. But I actually watched a little video about him the other day. That when the reason he went to North Dakota State or whatever is because nobody else wanted him as a quarterback.
He had no offers.
They were all trying to take him as that. Oh no, he had offers.
Oh, he needed
as an athlete.
Oh.
He was not like his dream growing up. He thought he was going to play for Minnesota, the University of Minnesota, as the quarterback, but they didn't want him as a quarterback. They wanted him as an athlete, and he was like, "No, I'm playing quarterback."
I think that's a terrible decision. The people that get in these people's ears and say you got to play quarterback. It's like, if you're getting a 4-hour scholarship to a big school, go there and show them.
Yeah, but the problem is those like you might not, as an athlete, you might not get to do shit. Like you may be a special teams.
Oh, he knew his only route to do what he wanted to do was
play
a quarterback
position.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Because I mean, when they list you as an athlete, they're looking at you as an all-around player. The majority of the time, that means special teams. Like you may be like the second or third string corner or second or third string wide receiver guy, but you're not seeing the field because you're an athlete. You're more like the return guy. You're fast, you're agile, but you're not a route runner.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I wouldn't want to go to school as an athlete. I don't know. I guess it's cool, but to be considered an athlete in that stance, but your position is so undefined and it makes it so hard for you to practice like one specific thing. Like
I could see, I don't know. I'm just thinking I could see the Patriots going real crazy and switching,
trading their entire draft,
just switching with the Dolphins or someone like that even, and they would be up in front of everyone there behind and getting whoever they wanted. It all comes down to the 49ers. If the 49ers take Justin Fields, I don't know if it'll be a lot more trading. They might just wait and see, or they might do something else. Because I feel like Justin Fields is, like I was saying, whenever Tennessee, what they're going through right now, they need to find a coach who has a special offense, and he needs to find the perfect quarterback that just fits what he wants to do.
UT or Tennessee Titans?
I'm talking about Tennessee Vols. I'm saying Justin Fields is the type
I
of
think the Vols.
He can make you really good right now, where these other people are just going to still be a quarterback.
The only difference with college, I think Heupel has it's going to be easier for him to do that. If he was smart, if I was him, I would go into this summer with 6 quarterbacks. I really would. At the college level, I would have 6 kids on my roster, and I'd find the one that ran what I wanted to run the best, and he would be who I'd play, regardless of what anyone else thought, regardless of stars, regardless of any of that. But yeah, where we at time-wise, dude? It's about time to wrap it?
Yeah, it is. Who do you think the Titans are going to take, or what position? What would you like to see as
I feel like it has to be cornerback, but I would rather see him take receiver right there. I like seeing our offense, but our offense was fucking awesome last year, and we were terrible because we didn't have a defense. So we need to go defense.
The one I'm reading right now says offensive line. That'll be boring.
If we're going to take offensive linemen, I'll fucking
see, that's the thing that for me, though, is when I hear an offensive lineman, I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Because, like I said, the problem is it's like a lot, and I mean a lot of the time, some of the first-round pick of linemen are trash. Chance Warmack was the guy. Like, right? You know, when I watched
all
his
those
training,
Alabama linemen end up being trash.
he
man.
was the juice. Like, I'm watching him train at some of the top linemen.
Terrence Cody's pretty good.
And then it's just like he gets out there and it's just like
he's
ain't
a defensive
shit.
lineman. Cody. Yeah.
But I think anytime you can upgrade your offensive line, you're improving your offense tenfold.
Well, we can only hope that Taylor Lewan comes back and isn't injury prone and doesn't get a lot of penalties and act like a fucking idiot. I think we let Jack Conklin walk when we probably shouldn't have. It doesn't really matter. Tannehill, the way our offense is set up is like picture perfect for the way Tannehill can thrive.
Right.
And I think they've proven that. So our offense is fine. Like, I'm really not worried about our offense. Everybody was great.
Lose a tight end and a receiver.
We lost Jonnu and Corey Davis, which is huge. I mean, you're not wrong about that. That's a glaring problem. But I think if either that Alabama kid can slip far into the first or
Smith.
Yeah, I would sign that kid in
might,
a fucking heartbeat, dude.
Man, just be watching for my fucking Broncos this year. We're at sudden back. Jerry Judy's in his second year, ready to tear it.
I do like Jerry Judy.
Noah Fant at tight end.
Yeah, you got some weapons. You just
right.
don't have anybody to throw him the damn ball.
Well, that's the plan. From what he said,
Come
right?
on, Justin Fields.
Hey, why don't the man just step down up there from his office and come down and strap the jersey back on and
John Elway was like the god to me. Right?
Yeah.
So, bro, like when I tell you the reason I play football, like we went to see when the Titans came here and they were the Oilers.
Played at Vanderbilt Stadium.
Right, bro. I got to go see them play the Broncos at Vanderbilt Stadium. There's a sign at my mom's house. It's me and my brother in like oversized Bronco jerseys. We both had signs and shit saying go up. But they were right beside the Broncos locker room walk-in. And I'll never forget having the sign and that way looking up. It was like one of those moments where it was like, I'm gonna play football.
Yeah.
But that shit was badass.
That's awesome, dude.
That is incredible.
Hey.
Barrett says Titans take a linebacker. Heard it here first. Before we leave, I'm going to get...
Okay. Go ahead.
He said linebacker. You heard it here first is
Yeah.
what he said. That's what I'm going to do since there is the big fight tomorrow.
Oh,
You see,
yes.
that's going to be my bet of the show.
Who we betting? Masvidal or
No, we're going to
Usman?
do a parlay.
Oh, okay. Let's pick it.
Pick the winners.
Let's pick it.
All right, we're going to do the last four fights, I guess. Hall versus Weidman.
Uriah Hall.
Uriah Hall versus
Chris Weidman. I'm going Uriah Hall is who I would bet.
Uriah Hall. Got it. Check.
He's the Falcon. He has one of the sickest knockouts of all time on the Ultimate Fighter, dude.
3-pointers Steph Curry got tonight. I just wondered.
You have a shit ton?
I don't know. I need him to.
He's balling right now.
No,
on
shit, he only had
controlling
2 last night. Last night he went 2 for 14 from the three.
The stretch before that he had like 50
Somebody
threes
look
in
it up.
7
You got it on
games.
your phone.
Something like that.
No service here.
Anyways, next fight. I'm gonna say Uriah Hall.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh, sorry. Here we go. He didn't throw me off. The other thing I was going to say about the NBA is, where's Kevin Durant? All you Kevin Durant basketball
He's
players.
soft as fuck.
I'm on record saying he's soft and hurt and always hurt. I'm over it.
Alright. You don't have to be on record. It's
He's bad.
on record.
Shevchenko versus Andrade. I guess that's a woman's fight.
Oh yeah. What's the second name?
It is
Has it got that picture by
Shevchenko
chance?
versus Andrade. I have the picture of the Shevchenko girl because that's the odds. I didn't want you to see the odds.
Oh no, that's okay. That's who I want.
Bro, Steph Curry.
Shevchenko, perfect. Yeah, it looks like she's a heavy favorite.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which one.
All right, what about the Chinese woman versus
Rose Namajunas?
Rose
I'm going with Thug Rose.
Oh yeah, Rose is taking that for sure.
That girl's a beast, though.
All right, parlay.
The Asian girl's the one that fucked up that girl's head, made it look like an alien that time.
The last one is Usman and...
God dang. Kamaru has not lost a fight in like 19 fights. He's never lost a fight in the UFC. I think Masvidal has something to prove, but I'm going Kamaru Usman in victory in like second round knockout fashion.
You're going with Usman?
Kamaru Usman.
He's the minus 420 favorite. Heavy
Yeah,
favorite.
I don't think he's got what it takes. Unless he does the exact same thing and keep your boy against the cage like he did in the first fight. If they stand up, bro,
You're picking Jorge?
So you get knocked out, bro.
Oh, who am I supposed to bet? I guess I gotta go with the guest.
But you can bet Jorge.
All right.
I'm just telling you, I think Kamaru Usman wins that
And you gotta
fight.
remember, bro, Usman's been on, he's had COVID and been all fucked up, wasn't able to train forever. So his body's in a whole different process right now, having to come back and try to beef back up to get his body right.
He's an African warrior, though, bro.
He's fucking waiting for
$2 parlay will win 58. It's been bet. Dabbling Dax, make sure you like, make sure you share it. Blaine, we really appreciate you being here, man. That was awesome.
Yes.
Talking about Corral.
Thank you for introducing me to that. Like Jason Corral, I really enjoyed watching that today also. So thanks for being here. We'll have you back sometime and shoot
For
shit
sure.
again.
See y'all.